right. They're doing a great job coaching. I think you can see the improvement by position. We're still figuring it out together, and the team's still figuring it out together, and the players are still figuring it out together. And in some ways, I thought we made some big strides from last week, but there's still a lot to fix.
Good morning. Good Tuesday morning, Damon.
Good morning.
You know this. Winning is hard. You'll take a win at any way you can get it.
The weekend was good, man. How was your holiday?
The weekend was good.
Good.
A win. It would have been much.
Man. You got 4 hours.
It would have been much worse if it was off of a loss in a game that could have been difficult, was difficult at times.
Yeah.
But winning is hard, and all this point is that winning it matters. Now, on to the other stuff. Our obsession with the game of football. For 5 straight days, we had football. And people were probably wondering, why are you watching football last night? Because it's football. Clemson and Georgia Tech. Now we get a couple of days off, and then we get more football beginning on Thursday. But the great game of football, that the South Dakota State-Iowa game is the same type of game, the same sport that's being played between Florida State and LSU, Georgia and Oregon, and all the other games in between. What an opening weekend. From the good, the bad, and the ugly to some affirmations and some teams you go, uh-oh.
Yeah, it's jump right in. I mean, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, I guess. I mean, Iowa, listen, we've seen it before, and it'll make us uneasy, and at the end of the day, they'll find themselves in the thick of the Big Ten West. We'll look at Ohio State, and we'll say, oh, they're not what we thought, even though Notre Dame appears to be a little bit better than we thought. I mean, anytime you can roll out 6 different coverages for an opener, now you do have all off season, but Notre Dame is well coached. Then you pit that against Oregon and let's say Georgia. Georgia is loaded. And I think they'll do that to a couple of teams this year. But there's a reason that I think people felt pretty good about the physicality going into that one. A big, strong, fast team against a team still trying to figure it out. Lots of different styles in college football. But I think what we're seeing now is it's unique to the conference. I think, it's there's only a handful of schools that can recruit nationally to put themselves on the national map down the stretch, but most schools are built for their conference, and I think you see that early showing up between the 2, 3, 4, 5 different styles.
So it'd be okay to label the Iowa-South Dakota State game as good Midwestern football.
Yeah, I think
288 yards of total offense.
Yeah, I just know better
in the whole game
than to say that neither one of those teams will. I mean, SDSU will be right there in the MVC, and Iowa will be right there in the Big Ten. So I think relative to the rest of the landscape of college football, they'll cross that bridge when they come to it.
That game, which Iowa wins those kind of games, I just don't think you're going to roll into Iowa City and beat Iowa in a 6-4 or 5-3 type game. They win those kind of football games. But that was an interesting watch to kick off your Saturday as we welcome you in on a Tuesday, a short week, a busy week of sharp betting in the morning. We will have football on the weekend, Nebraska and Georgia Southern. I don't know who's doing Big Red Overreaction, but just plan not starting until about 11, maybe post 11, with Georgia Southern coming in here as a 21.5, 22-point underdog that likes to throw the football around the yard.
Yeah.
That game could go for a while because it doesn't kick till 6:30.
Nighttime games are the best. Give folks a chance to get lathered up.
Now, nighttime games sometimes get a little. Where would you like to start in the craziest game, finish, post-game, LSU, Florida State? I don't know that I've seen many games in my lifetime that took you through from the beginning of that game to the end of that game to afterwards, like that game did in the Superdome on Sunday night.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I'm kind of still trying to figure out what happened. I know that 1 second took 20-some minutes, but I still don't have great clarity. I mean, I think I got it, but the way that it was worded by the officiating crew, I'm still not really sure what happened. I mean, are you?
No, it was just the whole thing was the whole game was like wild, from flea flickers to freak injuries. I mean, I feel for a guy like Mason Smith. Look at South Dakota State. South Dakota State's probably lost a couple of key guys in the opening game of the year, and injuries that happened like in the first or second possession, where you work all year to get ready, and then you go down with an injury. But LSU loses a guy celebrating. I mean, Mason Smith is done for the year.
Yeah, fantastic player too. I guess to go back to what I was originally talking about, you got the sense that they got the extra seconds before the challenge because they would have gotten it anyway. LSU would have gotten a playoff anyway when they set the chains.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they just say that?
I don't know. That's why there was the mass confusion. It took forever. I thought exactly the same thing.
So the assumption was LSU went out, got the first down, the clock stops. They would have had a chance to get on the ball to run a play. The time was wasted by the challenge, so they just assumed that LSU would have got the playoff?
I think that's exactly right.
Okay. I just would have loved a regular explanation. I still didn't get it. I'm not even sure the broadcast got it.
No. I mean, so that kind of like scenario at the end, and then you get the touchdown to bring them within one. It almost is fitting that you have a block extra point, which through all weekend, opening weekend of college football, special teams matter.
It wasn't.
Embrace your special teams.
It was a lot of just kicking game. Goodness gracious.
Well, look at last night.
Oh, yeah. And it'll
for
cost
Clemson.
It'll cost you. But the second block was totally on the punter. I mean, if you're in the pocket, what I would call in the pocket in spread formation with the 3 up backs, you cannot take 3.5 steps. Like, that's on him with the lack of sense of urgency. This is poor execution by the punter. There's plenty of time to get that thing off. I mean, you're not rugby style in that deal, getting outside the pocket, but he's punting from in the hallway, what I would call the hallway.
Right.
You punt the ball. But I mean, those that had Clemson, they're tickled.
Oh,
because that puts you in position to get a nice little minus 20, whatever.
I have to tell you. So talk about weird stuff going on, and you know,
it's not any stranger than taking the runoff before the half. But
well,
I mean, wave the
that's what I was getting to.
Wave the white
So
flag.
I thought he would be a good coach at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, me too.
I have no idea what's going on. I mean, they had a 10-play, 5-yard drive that had 2 first downs in it last night, and then whatever Jeff Collins was doing at the end of the first half with the runoff, and then his explanation. But I admit I was a little worried. I got Clemson in at 20.5, and I was a little worried. Ended up being 41-10.
20
and a half.
You got a great number.
I got that right before kickoff. It had dropped to 20.5.
Huh.
So I was very excited, but not at halftime. At halftime,
that's 4 points better than anybody else.
Hey, at halftime, I was a little bit worried.
Yeah, well, I think everybody was.
I mean, you're thinking, Clemson with DJU, you got to stop being loyal, Dabble, you got a 5-star quarterback on your sidelines. If this guy is going to, handcuff you, because you got a great defense. I mean, Georgia Tech offensive line had no chance last night.
Yeah, that was it was impressive. I mean, they were just getting overwhelmed. But you know what I would like to have seen? I'd like to have seen DJ get to play with some tempo, because it's obviously, with 4 minutes and some change to play and you get a 5-star coming in the game, they want to score. They changed the tempo a little bit, moved the pocket. They were a lot more creative. I'd like to see, DJ get that same kind of freedom running in offense. It was much more methodical, huddling up. There wasn't near the sense of urgency. He had 3 drops in the first half where his stats could have easily been better. I'm not going to poo-poo him just because he didn't get a ton of help in terms of stylistically, and then the couple of drops. But, I mean, shoot, that one's going to be interesting, because Dabo says there is no controversy, but you could tell they played to get him. They played to get another 5-star, some good looks to keep him at bay, at least for a little while. And you weren't just going to hand the ball off. I mean, he had earned the chance to get them a score too. That's how I look at it.
I wonder, because now the phrase 1v1s will become popular this week around here. What do you think when they go good on good in Clemson looks like with that defense against that offense?
I'm sure it's pretty good. I'm sure it's pretty good, especially when Clemson's D-line goes 8 deep. But I listen, it's chicken or the egg, right? We don't have to get into the whole fine China thing, but Clemson's willing to break a few dishes.
Huh?
And apparently Nebraska is too, maybe. Little alarming that it was we're kind of tiptoeing into that in week, what would this be, 3 for them, 2 for everybody else? But you got to be willing to break a few dishes. You cannot. He's tried it the other way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Right? We gave a couple of specific play examples. If you pen and you're seeing 2 pullers, you want to see 2 good pullers. So 2 game speed, I won't say good, 2 game speed pullers, so you know how to play that. Because if you're whipping that thing at the point of attack, your second level doesn't get an honest chance to get a look at how to play it. Right? Because you're defeating it at the line of scrimmage. Those fits feel right to them, but they wouldn't look right during game speed. So I mean that's just something that you got to weigh the risk reward.
So you heard, and I think you guys might have talked about this on Big Red Overreaction, and I was in the room. His post game, there was almost like his voice was cracking.
Yeah,
second half there was something going on in the second half on Saturday. Very emotional.
He was very emotional about something. I just didn't know what. Right? Was it? Did you just get finished talking to a couple of players? Did you just get finished talking to a coach? Somebody say something to you sideways? But you could tell he was fresh on the heels. I'm 100% certain he was fresh on the heels of something that moved his emotional needle. I don't know if it was a negative or a positive. Sometimes it was maybe it could have been the passion of a breakthrough moment.
Yeah, which the fourth quarter gives you at least something.
But I think he's got to fight the temptation of, hey, we haven't arrived yet, but we did do something that historically under my tenure we haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
So fans will poo-poo it, saying, oh my gosh, you used your timeouts on defense in the first half, same old, right? But folks that want to see Nebraska win will say, man, in the fourth quarter, you outscored them by 14. You rushed for 118 yards in that quarter alone. You normally wilt in 1-score games against lesser competition, or you have before in the past. Let's build on that. So he can't have the euphoria of being unrealistic, which is why it's almost like he's interesting because he's almost like his own shrink. In one moment,
that's a great point. I think you're spot on with that.
Right. In one moment, he wants the joy and the euphoria of exhaling. But in the very next thing, he'll check himself or us or this team or whomever, right? And say, yeah, but we're not blah, blah, blah. So it sounds like he's trying to find this level of balance as he tries to navigate his emotions. But there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't know that it's hard to parse through. To be honest, I don't really care who calls plays. I don't care if I know who calls plays. The important thing is that staff understands however they arrive at what they arrive at, how they got there. Because that'll keep you from reverting to what ailed you in the first place, in my opinion. In my opinion. But again, you had the ball 8 minutes in the fourth quarter. You were 3 or 4 on third downs. Like I said, you ran the ball better. You salted clock. You averaged 5.4 a carry. You only gave up 2 a carry in the fourth quarter. So you have to before you can even jog. I'm not even talking about running. You got to put one foot in front of the other. and it's a shame. Maybe that's not a good word. I just think it's interesting that there's so much in a presser other than just what happened in the game, right? Where
Mhm.
he feels this need for whatever the reason, and it's not new to him. So let's not make it seem like, let's not pile on Frost like he can't control his emotions. But it happens in programs where you get coaches that have unique relationships with guys. And when coaches speak on those said players, it elicits a different
Yeah.
emotion. So that's not new. It's not unique to Nebraska. They can have an RB1 and an RB2 already, and you still feel certain ways about guys in your program that have worked their tail off, that were good ambassadors when the chips were down.
Mhm.
To see Gabe Ervin Jr. lay it on the line when he was hurt and they're recruiting over him, and to keep the attitude that he had, you feel as a coach, you feel some type of way
Yeah.
about those players. For Ramir Johnson, who kind of steadied a rocky, piece of crap kind of ship during stretches last year where he hung in there
Mhm.
as one of the lone adults in the room. Like, you, as a coach, you feel that way.
Yeah.
You start to feel that way about players. So as the individual shrink in the room, he wants to be happy about Anthony Grant. He really does. He's going to be a good player.
Mhm.
But there's two things. Number one, he doesn't trust, and this is on Coach Frost. He's got to be a little bit more secure. Just be authentic. Don't worry about what we think. If we're too immature to handle the information, then we're too immature to handle the information. Don't come
Yeah.
down to our level just because we can be idiots sometimes. If you think the guy's good, he's good. You can give praise without us thinking he needs to have his jersey retired. But I know why he said it, because we can't handle anything in
Mhm.
context. And still encourage your guys in the room. The writing is on the wall. He has two very good running backs, and he has two very good ambassadors of the program. He's got to negotiate that. A lot of us
Yeah.
have been there.
He's
A lot of us have been there as a coach and as a player, right? There's this systematic thing that happens as a running back watching another running back emerge, where you're handing the baton off.
Mhm.
Here, man, take it and run with it. I got your back. And believe me, in the moment, it is a miserable experience, but you'll be better for it in the long haul, because that's when you cross over from happiness to joy.
Yeah.
Because remember, happiness is from what's happening, right? Joy is from the feeling you get from seeing that in which you're associated with flourish. And what they're associated with is the University of Nebraska and that football program. So to see them flourish, that's where you get joy. That's why that's why you want to be a part of it. So you're going to see it with some defensive guys, right? The same thing. There's going to be a handing of the baton, and you were once an ambassador. You have to work your way through
Mhm.
that as a program, because that's when growth happens. They alluded to it last night during the Clemson game about what did Dabo Sweeney make such a big deal about. The same 116 that were in spring or whatever the
Stayed.
number was,
Yeah.
stayed to report to fall camp. Like, that's it. It sounds like, oh man, that's cool, that's cute. But I'm telling you, that stuff matters, because even in those quote unquote glory years, 15-20% of those guys wanted to change addresses.
Mhm.
The culture kept them around. You wanted to win. You wanted to be a part of something good. So don't that's not an oversight.
I agree.
That's
Yeah.
not an
Yeah.
oversight. Ultimately, if your program wants to function at a consistent level, and it may not be a championship caliber athletic level, but it can be a championship caliber cultural level where it's not about you, that stuff matters. That
He
stuff absolutely matters.
he is extremely loyal to players that have given it to
And that's
given to the
okay.
program. And it's pretty evident on who that is. It's Ramir, it's Gabe Ervin, it's Oliver Martin, it's Wyatt Lever. All guys that, I mean, Oliver Martin, I think, played one snap on offense
Mm.
Wyatt Lever made what could have been a crucial special teams mistake. And we know about Ramir, who once again tweeted out something after the game. He's a cage dog. And then you haven't really heard from Gabe Irvin, who is getting back up to speed. But it just, as now they shift to week 3, and you got Oklahoma, who, for 3 quarters, I thought they looked like Oklahoma. They kind of slept walk in the second quarter. But for the first game for Brent Venables, that went according to script to beat UTEP like they did. That's on the horizon. But they got an interesting football team coming in Saturday. This seems like when you have the motion where your voice cracks on Saturday, and it may be they won a football game. They simply just won a football game. And he knows that after a win, sometimes this program has a difficulty in sustaining success, in starting to stack stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that ahead. You're playing Georgia Southern. You are now making the move to go, all right, we're at a point where we've got to go more 1v1 in practice, okay? Because things are hurting us on the field, whether it be you've allowed 34 plays on defense of 10 yards or more, 22 of those 34 have been through the air.
Good or bad time for a breaking dishes analogy? Good time, bad time?
This is a good time because it's early in the year, but this is like your week. This is like the head coach's week, because if they don't perform well and look like they've made strides this week, look what next week is all about. It's about Oklahoma coming in here, and oh boy, this could be just the final nail in the coffin of an ugly game. But if you play well this week and you do something you did in the fourth quarter and you improve on that, and individual guys you could see get better, this is kind of, to me, this is like Frost's week. Yeah. He laid down the law that we're going to get after it. We're going to be physical. And once you do that, there's no going back, and you hope you push the right buttons to say, all right, this is one thing I've waited until week 3 or ahead of the third game. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Yeah, it is. It's so much. And I'm passionate about it for a multitude of reasons. Number one, because I love the University of Nebraska, but probably more than that, I love competing. And so when something is right there in front of you and it's easy to get in your feels and to kind of feel bad about yourself, and you're going, you trailed at the half in Dublin, doesn't look good at the half in Lincoln. You need a moment, right? Because you haven't won those kinds of games before. And I'm big into just the way that you think, not so much about the way that you play. We met as a staff on Friday night. We didn't leave the building until 5 after 1 on Friday.
After you got back from Grand Island.
We were 2-0. We had been in there for however long. We got back. But there were some things that we knew that we have to shore up emotionally, not physically, right? Okay, we're operating at X capacity. Where can we get to? What role do we play? How do we take a look at how it fits with our culture as we try to ramp up for this week, right? Because you're always trying to progressively get better. 90% of the stuff, we just an amazing, not exaggerating, just an amazing practice yesterday morning. It's early, 7. Pads, guys flying around, and they got a good little talking to on Saturday morning. Conditioning Saturday morning was pretty good, right? You open up competition for a multitude of starting jobs. That's why I was giving the analogy about the dishes and whatever last week, because even at the high school level where you don't have the depth, you still have to breed a culture where complacency and maximizing and, not being okay with being okay, all those things matter. So to hear him say, so let's just say your glass is half full, right? And you're like, okay, you still have, because remember I painted that scenario where you could still get to 3-1, although it's a different 3-1 than you started. So emotionally, you didn't get it done in Dublin. You try to flush it. You played a lousy first half against an FCS opponent. And it's easy to make excuses. You could be back in your feels. You progressively got better. What's the next phase? Okay, we got to play better against that caliber of competition if we want to be where we want to be as a football program. So I have to stay on the gas. I can't exhale. So then he walks you through emotionally how to get over the hump and get a win in the second half the way that they did. Now what's next? Okay. We crossed a couple of things off the check mark box. Now what am I willing to do to stay on the gas?
Yeah.
You know where they're at? You got to be willing to break a few dishes. See, that's the next phase, because complacency, and because you heard me say that word a couple minutes ago, you'd be like, man, what do they have to be complacent about? Complacency can also be when there is no fear of being ran down from behind, regardless of if you're winning or losing. Oh, now I'm not losing my job. I'm the dude. Right?
Yep.
No, maybe not.
Yeah.
Right? At some point, Tommy Hill Jr. has to figure out if he's going to be a physical football player or not. And if Tommy Hill Jr. is not going to be a physical football player just because he enjoyed whipping their ass in fall camp and it hasn't correlated to real football yet, then Tommy Hill Jr. has to be tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, look, bro, not good enough right now. Right? You have to be willing to get a little nicked up. It's not a pretty sport. Other people that are behind you are watching. Phelan Sanford, you like to play hard?
He played some quality snaps.
Oh, here, how about some reps?
Yeah.
Like, that has to be how it goes. Because remember, the rest your soul, Pops, the only thing that grows under still feet is dead grass. Get your ass moving. Stop standing around waiting for other people to do something. Go get it. And yeah, it's Georgia Southern, but at some point, it can't be about the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
It can't. You have to do you. We just figured that out going to Grand Island. Really? Bellevue West looming? You better figure it out. Georgia Southern? Oklahoma looming? You better figure it out, because you cannot afford to take any steps backwards.
That's why this is his week.
You'd think ordinarily, G-Funk, you'd think to yourself, oh man, Georgia Southern, we got to get guys ready for Oklahoma. No. What'd he tell you? Got to be willing to break a few dishes. And yeah, I know it's Georgia Southern, but you have to set the tone for how it's going to go for the rest of the time, not just get by to try to ramp it up one more time. They got to move past doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have an opportunity.
This is why, I mean, it's also the first normal week they've had all camp.
Yeah, but you know what?
But so if you're going to go through that and you're going to say here, okay, now we're back to normal, then you've got to get you got to get a direct reflection of your preparation in the week when you get to the football field. Because on the field is a direct reflection of what the coach is doing. Okay? If your team looks sloppy, well, what are you doing as a coach? You know, your team looks dialed in and they're good in all three phases. That's a great reflection on you, a coach. But if you're having a normal week and you say, guys, none of this, oh man, we're tired, short week, we got to go to Ireland. This is their first normal week. And you said, you know what, we're going to be physical in practice. We've waited this long. We got to fix things. We got to fix things now. Then this is kind of your week. This is your week to where this team goes if they start to climb the mountain and get better, because there's issues that I think are going to remain all year. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We'll get into those as we go along today. But there are a couple of things that maybe in the fourth quarter, whether it be with headsets or helmets, that you went, man, there might be something there. Like I thought after the Ben Hart penalty on the last touchdown drive, that was one of the first times all year where I thought the play calling and the performance and the execution was in sync. What was called was ran.
Yeah.
And you had 11 guys doing their job. And they went, 8 plays after the Ben Hart penalty, and they were in the end zone. That was about as most in sync they've looked all year.
I think for Nebraska to play complementary offense and defense and special teams, which right now is still just kicking game, and we'll get to that. There has to be consistency and some uniformity amongst the staff. So as they continue to work through that, and we talked about this all off season, man. And we weren't just having these conversations to stir up drama and add content. You get people that somehow think we get paid by the click. I think they confuse our business with other businesses. That doesn't have anything to do with it. You try to provide insight so you have an opportunity to see what you're going to see later on. Talked about this all off season. The grown-ups in the room being grown-ups, and folks that are now inviting people into their homes as the fix-it people to let them do their jobs, and have the people that are let in the home to do said job still be mindful that that's not your house. See, we don't look at it like that, right? It's folks are letting you in their house to come do some cleaning up because we need some help, but it's still not your house. That's a fine line.
It's still going to be that way all year.
Well, let's hope not. Right.
But it can be less of a, oh my God, there's somebody in my living room cleaning.
It can manifest itself in a lot fewer areas. Yeah. Say it like that.
All right. Coming up a little bit later, Sam McEwen will join us next hour. We'll get his assessment through 2 games. Brian Christopherson stops by, Andy Kendi as well. The NFL is a couple of days away, so that is on the horizon. College football wrapped up a 5-day run. Some interesting weekend in the Big Ten. The Big Ten had a good weekend. The SEC and the Big Ten, as expected, had really good weekends. But what a crazy, crazy stretch of football with some wild games. Absolutely wild games.
Top 25 went 21-4, right?
Good day.
And 3 of those losses were to other top 25 teams.
The only major group of 5 upset was ODU.
Yeah.
Over Virginia Tech, which
in ODU, I mean, what was that? That number was 6.5.
Low. But why was Virginia Tech playing at ODU?
Yeah, well, those days might be few and far between where folks are willing to go roll the dice. Yeah, there's a couple good teams potentially that were kind of on the radar. Boise State laid an egg.
They're dead to me, and I hope to you.
Oh, but I know one thing.
Boise State's lost some juice in that program.
Hey, but I know one thing. Oregon State is not bad at all. That was a good hire by OSU.
Yeah, you know who is rising up?
Smith can coach.
You know who's rising up out in Corvallis? Trent Bray.
Yeah.
And that defense was better than I expected.
Yeah, and I actually liked him. I liked him a ton. And, sometimes I have a hard time parsing through just because people are good to me or whether they're good at what they do. I think for him, it was both.
His stock is rising. Right? That Oregon State defense is pretty good. How about seeing Papuchis?
Yeah.
On Sunday night.
Hey, how about that?
D-line and special teams. Their OC was on a roll.
Hey,
he was on a heater that entire game.
They act like they showed they had some flashes because LSU was clearly the more talented team in my opinion.
There was speed galore in that game.
Yeah.
And there were some boys that were hitting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're guys that brought the hit stick.
Some fellas.
All right.
How do you think Oregon felt yesterday morning going back to work?
That they got lambasted by a really good football team.
Think they're pretty sore?
And remember we used to worry about Alabama. Is this going to be the year they take a minor step back? Some people might go, oh man, Georgia, look at everything they lost. I think Georgia's going to be fine.
Yeah, and Kirby Smart, I don't know, like it's just one game, but he's saying all the right things about keeping his foot on the gas. And maybe it's a little easier being built in, playing in the same conference as Alabama.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to be complacency with that behemoth right down the road. But he says a lot of the right things. Now, I wish he could have remembered, haughtiness comes before the fall. He was referencing biblical scripture, and I just was like, "Come on, Kirby, man, just all right." When the chaplain comes in to talk, man, just remember the key words. You know the verse, Kirby. He said, "I can't really remember it, but man, I mean, maybe these guys can." No, man, haughtiness comes before the fall, Kirby. Step on the gas.
Yeah, Georgia's still Georgia.
Yeah,
and by the way, hello, Stetson Bennett.
Can I get back on that rant? You weren't with me. Boy, I went round and round over you. We better give that guy his respect. This was all year last year.
Yeah.
And the light skinned guy used to mess with me. He's, oh man, because you like Georgia, you like Georgia. I said, no, man, it's just when you win games, I'm gonna ride with you.
Yeah.
I don't care how it looks. If I can pick you on my team because you can help get dubs, man, you can walk, you can crawl, you can do whatever you want. As long as we're racking up dubs, we can hang out. And he balls his brains out.
So watching that score, and I'm like, oh my God. They had 7 touchdowns in the first 7 drives. Then I had to look up, who is Kenny McIntosh?
Hey,
Where'd this guy come from?
Listen, we forget about some of those guys.
They just they've got a factory going in Athens. All right.
Who is their strength and conditioning coach?
Well,
I know who it is, but look at the body types. I mean, do they get body shamed at Georgia? Because there's not one dude that walks around and it's like, you're not about to talk about me.
Look at, weren't you saying the same thing when you look at LSU and Florida State playing Sunday night?
Yeah. Although Florida State's a little on the small side, and I'm afraid to say this because
you're talking about like running backs.
Yeah. Because what do we go 2 and 2 in those picks. Florida State was the one that I like to win that outright, but I'm cheering like crazy for Mike Norvell. I don't know why, because I don't even know if he's good. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Let's go to quarters it, 3 quarters it.
But team quarters it. DB here for team quarters it. I'm hoping that Florida State can be better. And Kelly may find, and I'm not going to go back and say, I don't think Brian Kelly's a good coach. Brian Kelly's a good coach. I'm still concerned about fit. It is going to take some time for him to, because now he's got no strings.
Nope.
I just don't know if he knows how to play that game.
And doesn't seem to have a lot of friends.
Well, does he appear to be likable?
No, his interviews, man,
and I told you, I've gotten over that. Like, I'm not going to go back and say, well, yeah, but listen, that's just who he is, man.
But I wonder if he's ready for all of this when you are at LSU and you have a game like Sunday night and the fans
that folksy
are
family thing. Yeah. You're
going to have to be ruthless yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we'll get the Brian Kelly 1.0. The guy that first started at Notre Dame, and we're like, man, why does he handle the media like that? Remember that?
No. I just, he wasn't, they don't have the same passion at Notre Dame. They have a fan base, but they don't have the same passion where people are so ruthless that you have players that are scrubbing their social media because they don't want to put up with it. And you have rumors of your star wide receiver transferring.
Yeah.
When he doesn't get the football and has to play with Jaden Daniels for the entire season. All right. Lots from the weekend. Lots ahead. Short week. Glad to have you in. Sharp Betting in the Morning. There's Damon. I'm Gary Chance. Jimmy all here with you. I'm Gary on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show.
The media asks about how it's going with play calling all the time, and every freaking time he says it's hard. He said at Big Ten Media Days, it's sad. He needs to stop because everybody knows it's really, really difficult for him, but they need to get past that hump, and that's just one of the things. Like, can he grow into the role? Of course you can. You can get better as a head coach. Can he get better as a head coach? Can he grow into it?
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Some patchy fog possible early Tuesday, mainly east of the metro. Otherwise, expect mostly sunny skies through the morning. Warm and muggy in the afternoon with highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 192nd to 175th along Center. Then on L, be prepared for some pretty significant delays near 120th Street. And on Dodge, it looks like you can expect things to slow down just a little bit from 80th to 76th heading westbound. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Right now, we'll open your drain line for only $93 or it's free. Call for details or request service at justcallburton.com.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has been making your game day experience one to remember for 18 years with our award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. But now your game day just got bigger and better with Oscar's newly upgraded audio-video system. Cheer on your favorite teams this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall, showing up to 8 games at once, and of course, 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Hey everybody, it's Gary Sharp on behalf of my friends at Tickets for Less. As you probably heard by now, Tickets for Less is my go-to source whenever I need Husker tickets. But I want you to know that Tickets for Less has a lot more to offer. Did you know they have the largest selection of tickets to events both locally and nationwide? Plus, the thing I like the most, they never charge you outrageous per ticket service fees on your order. That's why I always use Tickets for Less. Whether I want to go to Arrowhead and see the Chiefs play, attend a concert or a show, ticketsforless.com is my first stop. See for yourself at ticketsforless.com.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Brookside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now. 402-671-7777.
It's time to finally kick off week 1 of the NFL, and you can do so with the FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed. All you have to do is place your first $5 bet using promo code HAPPER to get in on the action. It's easy to turn game day into payday all season long. Jump into any one of these week 1 matchups that we have, or you could parlay a couple of them together. You could jump in, cook yourself up a nice little same game parlay if you're feeling it as well. For instance, I sort of like fading some of the bad teams. Let's take a look at the Seattle Seahawks. They got Russell Wilson coming back into town. Maybe you like the Broncos. Play your way and bet on more than just the final score. You can wager on everything: touchdowns, total yards, catches, the individual props. They're all fantastic at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code HAPPER. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
Hope everyone had a good holiday weekend. Short week, busy week, lots going on. Bellevue West and West Side coming up on Friday. Georgia Southern and Nebraska, nighttime game. Iowa State playing. Texas, Alabama playing.
Boy, that Iowa State game got interesting in a hurry.
Still 3.5?
Yeah, and here's the thing, man. Campbell's got to win one of these.
Yeah, well, you can start beating. You got to beat your rival.
I mean, he's got to win this one. And is this not such vintage Iowa with this rivalry where people think they look a certain way before the game starts and the lead up, and it's like, well, I don't know about Iowa, and then all of a sudden they find a way to win, and it's like, oh, off and running. Like, listen, he's been fantastic, but they got to start winning one of these games. He's over.
You include in September, they're usually kind of slow starting, and then Campbell takes over in October and has a key victory. But I'm with you to tell people that you've turned the corner and Iowa State has arrived. This would be a year you'd go to Iowa City and win.
And it sets up too, because I mean, Iowa's got a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
But one question they don't have. How good is Jack Campbell?
Yeah, he's an All-American for a reason. But I wonder, you know what? And I give him credit. So he came to the postgame right away and said, "Hey, I know what you guys want to ask. I'm not going there." Because you start to wonder, okay, as good as that defense at Iowa is, are they going to be together with their brothers on the offensive side, who are not backing them up? I mean, they outscored their offense. Yeah. They scored 4 points. Okay, the punter kicked 10 times, and he was, he got league honors yesterday, along with Anthony Grant, by the way. But when you have a third-year starting quarterback that's got issues, and you don't look any different from the year before, and you had an OC in Brian Ferentz who said, "Hey, we're doing this, this, and this," and things didn't look different. Now, granted, they were down to 2 scholarship wide receivers, but that was, I don't know. I mean, maybe you just say, "Hey, we scratch and claw and we win," but
they got to find a way to keep KJ healthy.
Yeah. And
he's got to find. You know what it is, though? With some of it is, I'm not going to say what it is. Like, if you look at his frame, he is wound so tight. Very little room for error. A man may have to do a ton of soft tissue stuff because he's real muscle bound.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks fantastic. It's like, maybe yoga, some soft tissue stuff, some mobility to get in like the fascia.
I know it's one game. Wasn't it weird to see an interior offensive line at Iowa struggle?
Yeah.
I mean, South Dakota State's a good football team.
Well, here's the
thing. But they really struggle.
I don't know how much you pay attention to scheme, but South Dakota State had a fantastic game plan. And once you show a team that you're not going to get vertical outside the numbers, it changes the way you can play. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's lots of things that we can't do this week because of the vertical threat that we have to find other ways to compensate for. But you know what? That's the beauty of coaching. And in that one, SDSU, I was like, those were a couple of peers going at it schematically, and Iowa couldn't run the ball.
Nope.
Right? But they were -1 in the box constantly. SDSU with a free runner hitter just because they could play it certain ways. I mean, I don't know. I know it was ugly. I don't mind those kind of games.
That was a tough watch.
It is.
It was a tough watch, man.
I like good defense. I know I'm supposed to be an offensive guy, but I like good tackling.
I mean, you could say I like winning in Iowa as long as they're winning. But God, at some point that offense is you got to move the football and put points up.
Yeah.
The defense can't bail you out for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they basically now bailed the offense out for 10+ games.
Yep.
And Iowa's defense is really good. They might be one of the best in the entire Big Ten, but that offense is pedestrian. And you got an OC who is under fire.
Mm-hmm.
But then the whole thing we talked in the first segment about loyalty, Kirk Ferentz didn't waste any time. They're staying with the same quarterback.
Yeah.
And he didn't really.
And he knows what.
Well,
they
you
have.
can't do that first game when you built the guy up all offseason.
Yeah, he knows exactly what they have.
Here is Michigan Lance kick off the week. Hello, Lance.
Man, good morning, fellas. It's a lot going on with that Iowa. Starting with Iowa, but I got to give the high school shout out to Omaha Benson. Those mighty bunnies got off the schneid there, bounced back off a week 1 tough loss, little blowout, and then come back to beat Brian. Man, who's going to come out of that pack, DB, of the Bryans, the South, the Bensons, the Central, Northwest? Who's going to come out of there and make the playoffs?
The best built to do it is probably Benson, but
okay.
I don't know. I'm very, very, very concerned for Northwest. Very concerned.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
we're harkening back to this the rosters, the numbers. It's tough.
Oh,
you got to keep kids engaged.
It is, man.
It's tough.
Iowa, man, like. Iowa, man, that's just when you look at the word mediocre, Iowa sports has to be right there next to it. because they're not bad, obviously, but they're not great. They're just somewhere in the middle, medium, and it seems that's what. And I guess like, hey, you know what? I guess are they content with? Hey, we're Iowa. We're not going to win the national championship. Let's just make sure we win our 8-9, maybe a 10-game season, and then we'll make a championship game and get blunt, not win it, and like, yeah, that was terrible Saturday. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, but I don't think you could. We haven't earned the right to really badmouth that though, right? Because I'll take 9. I'll take the occasional 10. They just won double digits a couple years ago again. Like stylistically,
right.
I don't know. You know what else I think is too low a hanging fruit? Just having heard and kind of been around a little bit more. I don't know why we say that they're okay with being okay. They're not. I mean, believe me, if they were dynamic at quarterback and they could throw it around the yard and look fancy, they take good quarterback play. They're not going to be like, nah, you know what? We'd just like to be average at the quarterback spot. They're not okay with being okay. That fan base wants to win. Trust me. Like Brian Ferentz hears it a ton. They're not okay with just winning and just getting by. That's just my 2 cents. Right. I mean, it's not me vouching for Iowa. It's just me keeping it 100. Like I would say that, if I'd say the same things about a lot of programs. Like I don't think they're okay with being okay.
Okay.
Remember his son his own son didn't get a raise.
Yeah, but his own son still has a job.
Yeah, well, you have to be able to replace that with something better. If you're a 6 and you're going to replace it, you better have at least a 7 or an 8 if you're going to do that within the offseason. And maybe that wasn't the case.
But he's I got you, but he's not a 6. I'm sure.
Whatever the number is, you know what I'm saying?
Right, but there's a lot of coaches out here.
Okay.
And if you do your work, I mean, let's not act like there's nobody out there to replace Brian Ferentz. We saw his work. There's coaches out here now. That's one of the problems too. People don't want to go do work and get coaches and get good coaches. There's a lot of good coaches out here.
Hey, what were you saying about Gaddis in year 1 though? Not what you said last week when Miami snatched him. I mean, there was some pause for concern with the quarterback game, and was it too spread, and were they on the same page, and what was the chemistry between Gaddis and Harbaugh? Let's not forget now.
Yeah, but this. So you telling me Brian Ferentz and Kirk Ferentz don't have they're siblings?
No. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that they had an offensive coordinator that said out loud that he wasn't ready to be the offensive coordinator in his first year. That's all I'm saying. You could do with that what you want.
Right. Okay. Right, yeah, and then that's exactly right. I'm with you. Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
He's not in denial about that.
Right. So then So then are you okay with that? So that's when it comes back to, are you okay with it? Maybe the fan base isn't, but then the head coach must be, because he was like, he knows he wasn't ready. I mean, if he said it publicly, I'm sure he said it privately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And speaking of like, Gaddis and Michigan, man, hey, I've been looking at a lot of linemen this weekend, and maybe it's week, and I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna chop it up to week 1. But offensive line play didn't look good in week 1 a lot along college football. Do you guys?
It's hard to simulate physicality. Now there were a lot of points scored, it seems.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that equates necessarily to good offensive line play. There's some talented skill guys, but
I'm sorry, as far as the run game, blocking.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Welcome to the impact of 7-on-7.
Maybe.
Man, exactly, man. It's like Nebraska can't be going around talking about themselves in run blocking. When you look across the country, it isn't that great. But you can see, defense. Hey, man, I was very impressed with Michigan's I was more worried about the defensive coordinator being gone than I was Gaddis. And don't get me wrong, I like Gaddis, but I was really worried about that deep. Like, man, what are we going to look like? And man, they played physical. The opponent didn't mean anything to me. I could decipher if somebody's playing well and playing hard. And man, that defensive line, they were getting after it, man. They were getting after it. So,
what'd you think about Notre Dame and Ohio State?
Hey, man. Hey, Notre Dame. Hey, I was impressed with Notre Dame. I'm happy for the head coach over there, Freeman. We got another black coach out there doing well.
You get the sense Henderson should have had more than 91 yards, though.
Who's that?
Ohio State's running back.
Yeah, man, that defense, man. Hey, remember, Ohio State's still trying to run block too, or trying to block. Period. When they went against good D lines, their offensive line wasn't that great, and neither was their defensive line. So I did see some fire in their linemen, O-line and D-line. So I can tell that they put the work in the offseason because you saw it. It's not there yet, but it's better than what it was last year. And you know what? And DB and Gary and Nebraska fans, I get it. You wanted them to identify the offseason issues, and then you wanted to see an improvement this year. And then you come out week 1 and 2, it's like, man, did y'all work on this stuff? Like, when you saw whether it was Michigan, because they had to replace some coordinators, Ohio State, like, they worked on things that were gone or missing, and you can see the result. And it doesn't always have to come in wins. You know what I mean? Like, let me not say that. It doesn't always have to come in a win. And DB always talks, it's how you win, too. It's how it looks. You guys can sit here all day and say, well, Nebraska just needs to win. Okay, yeah, but they've won games. They've won 3 games before they won 5. They need to know there's a certain way they have to win to have a winning season. Those are 2 different things. Yeah. And you can't keep going by, it can't look the same and have a winning season.
Lance, we got to move on. Thanks for the call, my man.
Yeah, fella.
All right, we got lots to sift through on the weekend of college football. We'll talk about the Big Ten. Michigan put up 51 against Colorado State.
There weren't a lot of great rushing performances, but watching that game, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Henderson looks like a guy that needs more than 15 carries. I think that's what he got.
Well, what do you do with Williams?
Oh,
it's a tough problem to have. But their defense showed some grit. I mean,
Clemson won a game last night in which their leading ball, I think, what Shipley had, 42 yards, 40 yards?
Not much after the first drive, their first scoring drive.
It's weird.
All right, take a break. Come back. Sharp Betting in the Morning. Sam McEwen's going to join us here in a little bit. Brian Christopherson, Andy Kendi as well on a Tuesday edition. Welcome back, everybody. Sharp Betting in the Morning on 1620 The Zone.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Only on 1620 The Zone.
This is Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center. We have run our business for years by helping the vehicle owner retain the value of their vehicle by working for them with warranted, safe, high-standard repairs. For this reason, Omaha vehicle owners have chosen Dingman's to repair their vehicles. Your loyalty has been shown through repeat business and amazing referrals. You've also voted us first place Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. We want to say thank you for choosing the Dingman family and our incredible technicians to repair your vehicles. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
Fresh off the holiday, I'm sure you were probably outside doing something, maybe chilling and grilling, and hopefully you use those Rotella buns and specialty rolls. So good at what they do. Unsurpassed product quality, stands the test of time. I actually live pretty close to the Rotellas, and it's an easy one-stop shop. Or you can visit them online at rotellasbakery.com. Either way, they just the appreciation that Rotellas has as they've gone triple digits in terms of serving you appreciating the local community, and nationwide as their delivery supplies. Oh my goodness, they are all over the place. Why? Well, the special breads and rolls are made from the highest quality ingredients, ensuring that those products got great taste, great texture, and the shelf life. Can't underappreciate the shelf life. The key to success is longevity. Rotella's has that across the board. So stop on out at your nearest grocer or visit rotellasbakery.com.
Psst, come here. I got a secret weapon that'll make your family happy. Real happy. It's my new caramel toffee cookie combo. My big chocolate chip cookie covered with caramel and toffee bits. Add any medium specialty pizza piled high with the best toppings and loads of mozzarella on top. Plus any medium one-topping pizza. Caramel toffee cookie combo. Order now. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
It happens every day, and homeowners are victims every time, unless they call us. Hi, this is Garen Armstrong with Shamrock Roofing. Recently, a local homeowner with an aging roof had 2 well-known roofing companies out. Neither found hail damage for an insurance claim, but both happily submitted bids for a new roof. Then, the homeowner called Shamrock Roofing. We found significant hail damage and sat with the homeowner when he filed his claim. We were there again when the insurance adjuster came out. And when the insurance company tried to deny the claim, the homeowner appealed with his evidence from Shamrock. The insurance company then approved the full claim for a new roof. Shamrock Roofing helped the homeowner get his roof when the other roofing companies could not. That is exactly why we say call Shamrock Roofing first, especially if you're wondering about possible wind or hail damage. If you have it, we'll find it. One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today or find us online at shamrockroofer.com.
Hey football fans, it's Patrick Mahomes, and I'm here to let you know that with NFL SundayTicket.tv, you can watch your favorite football team no matter where you live. That's because NFL SundayTicket.tv gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. Stream right to your favorite device. Visit NFL SundayTicket.tv and order it today.
Eligibility restrictions and other conditions apply. Only one game may be accessed remotely at any given time. Available games based on device location.
Planning something fun for your office, family, or friends? Joe's Karting is for you. Take a break. Come to Joe's to race, relax, and recharge. Great for team building. Ditch the speaker and burn some rubber. Trust us, Joe says you'll leave motivated. Joe's Karting race packages range from providing simple stress relief races to the real deal race experience. Check us out at joeskarting.com. Remember, go to Joe's, your place to race.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Sharp betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
All right, Jay Clemens comes back on Thursday for fantasy football. Next couple of days, we'll do our predictions and wonder aloud why Matthew Stafford, what else does he have to do? Has a ring? Still not feeling super respect.
Yeah, he's got some national endorsements now. Stafford is everywhere.
He is.
Go ahead then, Matty. With winning comes great opportunity. Because you were that guy in Detroit. You just didn't win enough.
Sharp betting in the morning at 1620 The Zone.
Everyone, who's manning the front tonight?
Big E's nightclub needs a bouncer with a military background.
Dougie, I need you to keep eyes on the back.
Security who lays down the no-no when the uns get too intense.
That Swedish DJ duo is back tonight. Y'all remember last time.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Count on Lowe's for Labor Day savings. Get a Maytag top-load washer for just $568 and a top-load dryer only $548. That's a savings of $462 for the pair. Plus, get free delivery and special financing. Also, buy one, get one 50% off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Cabot Exterior Stains via rebate. Shop Labor Day savings now at Lowe's. See store at Lowe's.com for details and restrictions. Gas dryers available at additional costs. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Valid through 9/7.
Ted and Wally's, they are here for you. Two great locations downtown and in Benson. Always supporting the communities. This starts a new little stretch here with the back to school after special treat. Food lovers, summer fun, tasty treats, back to school benefits. Families helping with homecoming, proms, high school dances. Stop on out. Ted and Wally's will even help you cater the events. You're looking for something after sports games? It's a little hot out still, a little muggy. Yeah, Friday is going to be like that. Embrace the heat with a little ultra premium ice cream. A lot of different options to sorbet, fat-free, keto, vegan. And don't forget that perhaps the most impressive thing, over 3,000 flavors to get that palate taken care of. So again, doesn't have to be a special occasion, but if it is, double your trouble. Downtown or in Benson, stop out for some ultra premium ice cream. It's Ted and Wally's.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some major slowdowns along the northbound JFK from 25th and Q Street to Chandler Road. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for some major slowdown near 150th. And on Industrial Road, be prepared for some minor delays near 149th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Through September 12th, buy a Nebraska Lottery Powerball with Power Play ticket and enter the voucher number for a chance to win a trip to New York City and a shot at $1 million. Powerball top prize odds, 1 in 292 million.
Cool air temperatures mixed with warm soil temperatures means it's time to plant. Visit Lanaha's Garden Center for the Metro's largest selection of homegrown trees and plants. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
It's time to finally kick off week 1 of the NFL, and you can do so with the FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed. All you have to do is place your first $5 bet using promo code HAPPER to get in on the action. It's easy to turn game day into payday all season long. Jump into any one of these week 1 matchups that we have, or you could parlay a couple of them together. You could jump in, cook yourself up a nice little same game parlay if you're feeling it as well. For instance, I sort of like fading some of the bad teams. Let's take a look at the Seattle Seahawks. They got Russell Wilson coming back into town. Maybe you like the Broncos. Play your way and bet on more than just the final score. You can wager on everything: touchdowns, total yards, catches, the individual props. They're all fantastic at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code HAPPER. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
It happens every day, and homeowners are victims every time, unless they call us. Hi, this is Garen Armstrong with Shamrock Roofing. Recently, a local homeowner with an aging roof had 2 well-known roofing companies out. Neither found hail damage for an insurance claim, but both happily submitted bids for a new roof. Then, the homeowner called Shamrock Roofing. We found significant hail damage and sat with the homeowner when he filed his claim. We were there again when the insurance adjuster came out. And when the insurance company tried to deny the claim, the homeowner appealed with his evidence from Shamrock. The insurance company then approved the full claim for a new roof. Shamrock Roofing helped the homeowner get his roof when the other roofing companies could not. That is exactly why we say call Shamrock Roofing first, especially if you're wondering about possible wind or hail damage. If you have it, we'll find it. One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today. or find us online at shamrockroofer.com.
Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Sharp and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app. Here are Gary Sharp and Damon Benning.
He's got to get set.
Claps his hands, gets the snap. Play action. Steps, throws down the middle of the field. Pass caught. Borkature, touchdown. Nebraska. Nate Borkature's first career Husker touchdown.
All right, we'll see if Travis Vokalek is back this weekend for Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brewington got a touchdown. Borkature got a touchdown. A.J. Rollins got in the game.
Hickman played 8-9 snaps.
There is a theme, though, this season at certain position groups. If you don't do your job, you're not playing just because you're in a uniform.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the way that they're trending, right? And it's early in that first segment, I think the main reason I use Tommy Hill Jr. as an example as a guy that I really liked in the offseason and in fall camp. But again, maybe it was because they weren't hitting a ton. I use that as an example because that's a guy that's got a lot of ability. Got to be willing to lay it on the line. But then in the same vein, you can't see, I wouldn't invite, this is a PSA. I wouldn't invite criticism and pushback. Like you can't tell the fans to stop booing if you're not willing to lay it on the line. Because a very slippery slope players have when they talk to the fan base. You have to approach it like customer service. The customer is always right, because that is going to be a very difficult battle to win. Doesn't mean that Hill Jr. isn't right. It just means you're not going to win that battle. So just keep it pushing. Play the best you can. Lay it on the line. The rest will take care of itself. Don't get in. This isn't that other school, right? Fans, they're just they're too important, right? Like there's this crazy thing with the fan base. You need them. You absolutely need them, and you have to compromise. Sometimes you have to compromise what you really want to say. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right? Doesn't mean the fans are always right, because they're not, but they are important. So you have to reconcile that in your head as a player. And you have to know that going in.
And you wonder, are they booing us? Are the scattered boos for us, or are they for the head coach?
Well, I don't even think that matters. And I saw that on social media where people were like, oh man, they're booing them, not the coach. First of all, players aren't discerning, so it doesn't matter like that we have that hypothetical or that rhetorical question. The other thing is, I'm in the control, and you don't have to agree. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. I'm in the control what you can control business. And if you control the controllables, you don't worry about that kind of stuff. Because I would always say to myself, what can I do differently? Right?
I just say, do your job. You are there for a reason. Do your job.
Like, what could I do differently? I could blame lots of things on lots of people, but at the end of the day, what can I do differently? And I think I just had a talk in my own household yesterday. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's on me. That's not taking my ball and going home. I have to understand I have to understand the magnitude of what that represents. Now, at the end of the day, did I think it was legit? Oh, absolutely. But it's much easier if I'm a player to say, all right, they're doing this, but what did I do and what's the desired outcome? I say that all the time because that's the only way I think you can keep yourself as an individual in check and not make it about what other people think or what other people say. What's the desired outcome and what can I do differently to achieve it? It just has this uncanny way of keeping you in your lane. You're just not going to win that battle with the fan base.
Do your job.
There's just too many. It's too many uncontrollables.
So staying in the defensive backfield here, we got Sam McEwen coming up here in a little bit, is they've got an issue at safety. I mean, that's not new, but I don't know.
I wasn't crazy, was I?
Well, I'm wondering where bodies are coming from. I mean, Miles Farmer, first of all, I think Buford has played every snap this season.
Yeah, maybe but one.
And Miles Farmer has played all but 2 garbage snaps.
Close to probably 4 or 5. I think.
Omar Brown has played 5 snaps. Singleton has played 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's safety in your first 2 games.
Awesome,
there's not a fix coming at safety.
You know, unless I won't say that. Let's say this. Let's assume that the talent, again, I'm open to discussion. That's what makes the show fun. Maybe, Sharpie, there's a minimum baseline of talent. Maybe it's just that you need reps. Would you entertain that?
I would. And there's accountability.
You know, because all I heard all off, and I'm not just saying that because I said it. I'm saying because when you play this style of defense, you have to get lined up right. I'm not like, I know a lot of times people are like, man, this damn DB, you talk too much, man. You talk just to be talking. But I'm telling you what you need to know.
Alignment, assignment, tackle.
When I say like you have to appreciate D. Will and Dismuke. I'm not saying that because I'm president of their fan club. I'm saying because if you can't get guys lined up right, it's impossible to play good defense. And look how many times pre-snap Nebraska looks to try to be getting organized. It's enough to drive you crazy. And, you know, I'm a little biased because I like Buford.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, we talk, we're down, we're this, we're that, but let me show you baby steps. And it's funny because I was talking to one of my guys on DM and he said, I think this was yesterday or the day before. He goes, say, look, DB, a lot of people are being negative about this, and this in Buford, but let's give credit where credit is due. And he was talking about these sequential plays in which he made, right? Didn't look good on the tackle, on the long run, kind of got drugged down, made the next play, then had the breakup. And I'm like, you know what? Fill in the blank guy. You're right. Like, you're absolutely right. And unless you're watching film and I don't know, maybe TB is just one of the, well, he's a guy that he appears to be over these years of just going back and forth with him. His glass stays half full, but he does know where to draw the line. I think he's a guy that's actually watching plays sequentially versus just picking low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. And if you're looking for incremental growth, he didn't rest in the fact that was a super poor fit. It was a super poor job of tackling. You got gashed. You have to bow your neck once you get inside the 10, and he did. So I'll ride with that guy. I'll ride with that guy.
You know what? When Buford isn't going for the home run but likes to hit a single, he's really good.
Yeah, and you know what? That's going to come with him. it could come with experience. Maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see.
No, I think it comes with
him.
experience because you see it.
It's a hard position to play there. It just is. It's a hard position to play in that defense, and it's big fundamentals.
Well, before the snap or the play happens, assignment, alignment, and then eyes.
Yeah, alignment, assignment, technique, right?
And then guys' eyes.
Alignment, assignment, technique. All right, I get lined up. What's my assignment? What technique have my coaches taught me? Trust the technique. Alignment, assignment, technique. Let's say it till I'm blue in the face. Watch how big this is on Friday. You'll know if we're not good with one of those three things when we play on Friday. Mark my words. Because they'll take advantage of it.
Sam McEwen's coming up here in a little bit. Speaking of Mr. Buford, here is Brian. Hello, Beep.
Hey, morning, guys. Hey, I was just saying, you guys just talking about Buford there, too. The one thing I really liked about Buford here this last game, and especially the play where they had the long run, and he fought tooth and nail to get the guy down. Then they have a play up the middle. Then they go to the outside, and he makes a great tackle on the outside on that running play.
Yeah.
And then he makes a great play knocking the ball down. Now, to me, that's the kind of guy that you really do want out there because he's not giving up. He's all out all the time. I know he wants to go for the home run hit and stuff like that. And but man, that part, you want to be able to pull back a guy. You don't ever want to push a guy. Being a coach and everything else like that, you want a guy that's like out there going 100 miles an hour trying to kill it rather than someone you got to push to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I like Buford, but that's just me. Just because it looks like he's out there not trying to go all out and trying to do what's right. So, but thanks, guys.
You got it.
Ryan, thanks. Here is Andrew. Good morning, Andrew. Welcome to Sharp Betting in the Morning in the Zone.
Boys. How you doing?
Andrew.
What's up, Andrew?
Hey, I got two questions for you. And I remember when Frost was hired, and your big concern was, could he handle being in the fishbowl?
Mm-hmm.
Back
in the day where the peanut gallery thought I just didn't want him. When I said we're unnecessarily setting him up for failure and he doesn't have a thing he can do about it. Yeah, I remember those days too. That was fun.
I wonder where you think he is now on that.
Right where I thought he'd be.
And on the safety position, whatever happened to Gates? He came in pretty highly. Yeah. Was he a high 4-star at safety?
Pretty highly touted. That was a good gift for Nebraska at the time. I appreciate it.
And he just seems to be on the bell coaching.
Yeah. Gates looks a lot the same as he did when he got here. Right? Like
remember I got chastised this summer, so I'm gonna just let you go here.
I mean, listen.
He has the problem of you're exactly right. He looks the same. I can't play a guy if the guy can't get lined up correctly.
Yeah. I mean, with regards
that far into my program.
With regards to Coach Frost, it's like 99.9% of the other coaches that come here. You think you could have been here before in some other capacity, but until you're that guy, it's different. And I remember those days vividly, right? You had the message board where Benning's jealous and this, that, and the other, and doesn't want him here. I'm like, you guys are idiots. Like, pretty sure I've talked to him. Second of all, I feel like I have a pretty good feeling what he's thinking. And oh, by the way, it did kind of come down to the 11th and all that. We don't have to revisit, but I'll say this to say how it's correlated to the present. It's the same, right? Like, the best piece of advice I could give is to just be authentic. We'll adjust. And if we don't, that's okay too. What you don't want to do is try to be X amount of different things to X amount of different people, because when you lose the reality of yourself, it's impossible to lead. It just is. So, we asked early on in the off season and during fall camp, we heard quarterbacks go on podcasts and say things about, what was divulged to them. And I said, man, you know what? Like, I understand. Like, he's emotional, kind of being authentic. I guess we'll figure out if this is the type of team that can handle that kind of pressure with when your coach is letting you know, like, where he is on the emotional barometer. Some coaches can make that work, right? If you have an experienced team or an emotionally mature team. Nebraska really wasn't there yet, but that was phase one, in my opinion, of him being a little more genuine. Now you just got to I usually tell this to quarterbacks when they throw to receivers they can't catch or run routes or whatever. I always say, hey, or you're on the court and you leave a pass for a guy that's not a KYA. You got to know your audience. You got to know your audience. Some of his guys, I think he knows really, really, really well. Other guys, I think it's still figuring it out. And when you make gutsy decisions or you ride with the brand or ride with a guy, you have to know that that's going to come with some consequences. And you just got to be comfortable with them. You're not going to please everybody. And the minute you come to grips with that, life just typically goes a little better. Be the best that you can in that moment. And the rest will sort itself out. You're either going to win enough to stay around or you're going to lose enough to be gone. And the only way you can have peace with both outcomes is to lay it on the line. That's it.
Sam McEwen is coming up here in a little bit. We'll get some emails. As always, you can send them to Gary or Damon at 1620thezone.com in the Equitable Bank inbox. We're off and rolling. Also, a little bit later, Brian Christopherson, Andy Kennedy, full boat. Plus, we've won a bet with the Big Ten.
We did.
Yes, we won a bet with the Big Ten. And maybe with all of you that didn't chime in, but you knew that we were right because the Big Ten baseball tournament and an event going on at the Chi tomorrow night, completely different.
One.
Yes, we've won a bet. Kevin Warren, pay up, please.
Didn't look good, though, did it?
No, but we made up some ground. Good on this being a volleyball state. Sharp betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone. Previously on The Crossover.
Nick, what the hell? I'm busy on Sundays.
I'm busy.
This is pathetic.
Nick, how busy were you? Laundry. I had so much laundry yesterday.
Okay, you're watching TV. You don't stand there and watch the laundry, do you? My God. That's pathetic. That's pathetic.
Sharp and betting in the morning. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone.
Find your next certified pre-owned vehicle at Woodhouse Ford of Omaha today. Woodhouse Ford of Omaha is now a Blue Ford Advantage dealer with over 100 pre-owned certified vehicles. That's already on their lot. You can test drive those and take them home today. The Ford Blue Advantage program also allows for a little peace of mind while shopping their extensive online inventory. Online, right? Online is a good thing. The program is packed with additional benefits for you when you're looking for that new vehicle. Each vehicle must pass a multi-point inspection before entering the program. You can also receive comprehensive limited warranty coverage, money-back guarantees, and 24/7 roadside assistance. Plus, take advantage of great interest rates through their certified pre-owned program. Stop out at the dealership on 3633 North 72nd Street. And remember, with the Ford Blue Advantage of Woodhouse buying program, it's used car buying that's built for you.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Some patchy fog possible early Tuesday, mainly east of the metro. Otherwise, expect mostly sunny skies through the morning. Warm and muggy in the afternoon with highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Dingman's Collision Center. We would rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More time-saving traffic center. We have a couple of accidents to report, starting with one along the Stores Expressway West on North 9th Street, so please be cautious if you are in that area. And then there's also an accident to report near 132nd and Giles Road, so please be cautious if you are in that area as well. And then along eastbound I-80, be prepared for some major slowdown near 84th Street. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Everyone knows Saul's pays top dollar for your gold, but Saul's pays cash on the spot for your precious metals too. Silver, gold, platinum, coins, bars. Who wants to wait to get paid? Get to Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Saul's Jewelry and Loan. You'll find it all at Saul's Jewelry.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Come here. I got a secret weapon that'll make your family happy. Real happy. It's my new caramel toffee cookie combo. My big chocolate chip cookie covered with caramel and toffee bits. Add any medium specialty pizza piled high with the best toppings and loads of mozzarella on top. Plus any medium one-topping pizza. Caramel toffee cookie combo. Order now. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Malarkey shingles are durable, high-performance, impact-resistant, and beautiful. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is a certified Malarkey shingle residential contractor. For a free estimate, call Carp's Complete Exteriors or visit carpsomaha.com.
After 24 years as an Omaha staple, Horseman's Park Simulcast facility is getting ready for major renovations on Sunday, September 18th. The Simulcast facility is preparing to move to its transitional infield location. So before casino construction begins, don't miss this opportunity to watch and wager on over 700 TVs. Take advantage of food and drink specials, door prizes, and so much more. Come enjoy Horseman's Park before we move to the track infield. Open 7 days a week. Horseman's Park, Omaha's best bet.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer, a big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackPhone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at trackphone.com.
New message.
Hey, man, it's Devin. You know, from that time you accidentally emailed me because you thought I was a different Devin. Oh, and your email signature said confidential. If you receive this in error, please delete. That's so you. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat. When are we setting sail, Captain?
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Oh, and no, you did not receive this message in error.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Hey everyone, Jimmy Allen.
And Rob Love here. We are now working banker hours.
That's right, the After Hours Lounge is now open from 6 to 8, Monday through Friday.
So come stop by and open up a tab.
We talk all things Huskers, Jays, Mavs, and even Reavers.
And we talk to everyone in the community when it comes to high school sports. We are powered by Cabinet Design Studios.
And Iowa Western Community College.
On 1620 The Zone.
When you love riding a motorcycle, you want to ride it everywhere, even getting a dental checkup.
Mr. Carter, wouldn't you prefer the chair?
I'm fine on my bike, Doc.
Well, let me know if you feel any discomfort.
And when you love saving money, you want to save even more. That's why Geico makes it easy to bundle your motorcycle and car insurance.
All done, Mr. Carter. Remember to brush, floss, and lubricate your drive chain regularly.
Kickstart your savings with Geico Motorcycle. Bundle and save on the things you love.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. Sharp and betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
All right, sharp betting in the morning, 1620 The Zone. We got Sam McEwen of the World Herald is coming up next. Did you follow along on the weekend of the Tom Brady stuff?
Yeah.
So does that need to be on NFL.com or page 6?
Page 6.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird.
Something was obviously going on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's telling us. He says I got a lot of poop going on.
Is
right
that
now.
going to be an issue on the field?
Yeah. Well, I think Tampa Bay is one of those teams that's overvalued at least early. I don't know how they're going to block guys.
No, they've had a rough offseason or rough training camp and preseason with losing offensive linemen. That's why I'm starting to. All right, the New Orleans Saints, you might have my attention. Dennis Allen has never lost to Tom Brady.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good quarterback play away.
But
they got a lot of other pieces.
But the Tom Brady stuff at home with Giselle is going to be an issue, I believe. I mean, just is. He's a family guy. That's an important thing to him. Whatever is going on, but page 6 of NFL.com. That'll be the balance.
I almost feel bad wondering what's going on, but I wonder what's going on.
Well, she said, I thought we were going to move on with our life. And he said, not so fast.
Yeah.
Sam McEwen says, not so fast. We're going to talk about the first 2 games of the year and what is ahead with Georgia Southern when Sammy Mack joins us next.
Question 5. Lucas and Carla have 3 homework assignments each. Lucas does his online at home, but Carla has no internet at home. If Carla has to travel 5 miles to find Wi-Fi at a noisy diner or a grocery store parking lot, how can she ever be expected to do well in school?
This is not a problem kids should have to solve. Cox Connect to Compete, providing affordable internet to lower-income students. Available to new residential Cox Internet customers who meet eligibility criteria. Other restrictions apply.
After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone. After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Question 5. Lucas and Carla have 3 homework assignments each. Lucas does his online at home, but Carla has no internet at home. If Carla has to travel 5 miles to find Wi-Fi at a noisy diner or a grocery store parking lot, how can she ever be expected to do well in school?
This is not a problem kids should have to solve. Cox Connect to Compete, providing affordable internet to lower-income students. Available to new residential Cox Internet customers who meet eligibility criteria. Other restrictions apply.
Home is where your health is, where your family gathers together, takes care of each other. And right there with you is Nebraska Medicine. We're proud to take care of Nebraska, to deliver everything your family needs. From immediate care to neurosurgery, it's expertise you can be confident in. With locations throughout the region and telehealth appointments from the comfort of home. Find a provider close to you at nebraskamed.com.
Home is with you wherever that may be.
Hey, Olivia, what do you think when you think of Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe?
I think, can we go now?
Jones Bros is famous for award-winning cupcakes. Our cafe is delicious for breakfast and lunch, too.
Try French macarons.
And our light bulb boba drinks.
And our ice cream.
And our coffee and lattes.
And our croissant donuts.
We cater, too. Come see us at Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village.
Come on, let's go.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We are rapidly growing and adding new customers, which means we need new route drivers and service technicians. We have new jobs for those new to the industry with little or no experience, and new careers that require knowledge in the coffee and vending world. There's a good chance we have just what you need in a new job. Host Coffee offers competitive pay and understands the work-life balance. Apply today at hostcoffee.net/careers and join our team.
Experience Service Trust, hallmarks of McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air, Omaha's choice for AC heating repair and installation for over 50 years. McCarthy's drug tests and certifies all their technicians. They've got over 100 combined years in the service department, and the job's always going to be done right the first time. Join McCarthy's Comfort Club, and your AC and furnace will always be at tip-top shape with their twice yearly inspection and maintenance. For AC and heating, service and installation, McCarthy's1hour.com. Always on time, or you don't pay a dime. McCarthy's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry. You can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style. And they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
It's time to finally kick off week 1 of the NFL, and you can do so with the FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed. All you have to do is place your first $5 bet using promo code HAPPER to get in on the action. It's easy to turn game day into payday all season long. Jump into any one of these week 1 matchups that we have, or you could parlay a couple of them together. You could jump in, cook yourself up a nice little same game parlay if you're feeling it as well. For instance, I sort of like fading some of the bad teams. Let's take a look at the Seattle Seahawks. They got Russell Wilson coming back into town. Maybe you like the Broncos. Play your way and bet on more than just the final score. You can wager on everything: touchdowns, total yards, catches, the individual props. They're all fantastic at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code HAPPER. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
The best part of your summer night is listening to Royals baseball on 1620 The Zone.
Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
All right, welcome back in Sharp and Betting in the morning on this Tuesday to kick off a short week. Lots of good football ahead for high school, college, and of course the NFL begins on Thursday, and we begin with Sam McHugh of the World Herald. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I love the NFL. I'm so glad it's back.
Talk about the delivery not matching what was said. It was very. So you're just like lamenting in the moment, aren't you? Like, oh, the NFL.
No, I love it. Like my wife and I already got the plan, the viewing plan for the weekend. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great season too. So not for my Bears. They're probably not going to be very good, but I love the NFL. So I can't wait to watch that. And college football's off to a good start too.
Don't as long as this upcoming weekend against the Niners, the Bears don't win, because I think I'm going to go with the Niners as my suicide pool pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah,
man, I'll take the Niners in the points. I think they're a 7-point favorite. They're going to win by about 17. So.
Hey, let's dive in before we get into Nebraska. What outcome this weekend or performance surprised you the most in the Big Ten?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, this is I guess inside baseball or something, but it surprised me that Illinois lost, because I think the team they played is bad, and Illinois had no business losing that game. To be honest with you, I think I watched about the last half of it after I got back from the Southeast game, and so I didn't think Illinois should have lost. I mean, Iowa. I thought it'd be a close game. I wrote that. I think I picked 21-14 or something. Iowa's got an incredible defense. South Dakota State will score points this season, but their offense is in serious trouble. And Kirk Ferentz took a risk, basically handing the quarterback play and the offensive play calling duties to his son. His son's never coached quarterbacks before, and you saw the result. I mean, they're no better there. They lost two of their best receivers, now play for Purdue. They had a great running back last year who I thought made them a lot better than people realize. So they look like they're in trouble, a lot of trouble, and offensively. Now, that Iowa being Iowa, they find ways to win games because they know how to play the game. And so you can't sit there and say Iowa State's going to beat them. It won't surprise me if Iowa wins that game 13-12. Iowa knows what they're doing, and they win games because they're very, very good at winning games. They figured out how to do it, and so I'm not going to say they're going to win 5 games. They could win 7 or 8, but they're seriously in trouble. I mean, their offense is really bad.
I may come back to bite me, but I said last week we're sleeping on Michigan State. I think that's a much better team than people are giving them credit for nationally and even locally. It's like they're an afterthought. I think that's a good football team in my opinion.
I agree. I have them 15th in my poll, and that's not unusually high. So I think they're probably about where everybody's at. But 15th, maybe they should be a little higher. They're going to be a good team. They're going to be tested a little bit once they get into their schedule. I think Penn State, a good team. They got a quarterback who's been there forever, and that always helps. Unless you're Nebraska, and then it didn't help. But so it's going to be really competitive on the east side. All those teams are really good. Ohio State's a good team. They'll be just fine. So strong on the east. The west looks pretty shaky. Let's be honest. Illinois, that shouldn't have lost that game. Purdue kind of mismanaged the end of that game. I still think they're a really good team. So we'll see what happens in the west side.
Sam McCune of the World Herald joining us. What's your assessment of Casey Thompson after 2 games?
Pretty good. I think he does a nice job of throwing, short to intermediate passes outside the numbers, so to the sideline. He has good quick game. He throws screens like you're supposed to. I'm talking wide receiver screens. Struggles a little bit with the deep ball. He's underthrown a couple. He's floated a couple. And he can be a little greedy over the middle.
Yep.
So his 2 interceptions have both been on 3rd and long, and it's both been trying to fit a ball in there. And so he's got to watch that a little bit. But more mobile than I thought. He's kind of a crafty runner. He does a nice job of avoiding contact. He kind of knows he can see the field in a way that helps him as a runner. They probably should run him just a little more. I think he's been pretty good. It's a league full of good quarterbacks, though. Like, this is not, they're from here on out, and this kid from Georgia Southern's not bad. Dylan Gabriel's good. From here on out, they're going to face guys that are comparable to Casey Thompson almost every week. Tommy DeVito at Illinois is not bad. Bazelak at Indiana is pretty good. They're all pretty similar. So they're not going to be facing a lot of guys that are brand new or don't know how to play college football. So I don't know that Nebraska is going to have a decided advantage in a lot of these games at quarterback, save maybe Rutgers, because it's hard to say exactly what they're going to have at that position in 4 weeks, whether somebody's going to be hurt or you just don't know. But they're not going to have a huge quarterback advantage because I think most of these teams got pretty good quarterbacks.
Sam, I know Nebraska appears, at least in my opinion, to have established their top 2 running backs. How much of that do you think is they're the best of what Nebraska has to offer, or those guys can be pretty legit across the board before we get to Big Ten season play?
Oh, no question. I think, Anthony Grant is the first back they've had in a while who, and this is a jarring thing for people. Like, it's a little bit difficult for the media because there were 4 more questions yesterday about Ramir Johnson, and God love him, but he never did anything that Anthony Grant did in those first 2 games. The runs that Anthony made, he didn't do those things. And so, I understand that you want to get him on the field for a handful of carries. But, he had 3.5 years to do those things, and Anthony Grant did them in 2 games. And so they have a guy now. And you can't worry about where the guy came from or what it means or any of that. But it's the first guy since Devine, and really the first guy since Trey Bryant, who you're like, this guy can run the ball 25, 30 times a game, and you feel really good about what you're going to see, especially at the second level. So, he's really good. I thought A.J. Allen did a really nice job of running downhill, running hard. He's going to be a very good player. He's a little different from Grant in the sense that when Grant can make guys miss all AJ Allen's is gonna run at you, and he's actually got quite a bit of power for his size. So I think he's a nice player too. And then you've got the guys behind him. Gabe Irvin, as Scott Frost said, deserves to play. Well, again, we've talked about this before. I don't know why they were carrying 6 or 7 scholarship running backs. I don't really think you need 6 or 7 if this is the offense you're going to run. So they've got a guy. They're going to have him for at least this year and maybe next. Ride him. Like, don't try to pretend that you have to, get a bunch of guys carries. If you've got the guy and you can keep him healthy, that's great. And he's upper half of the Big Ten. I don't know who the best is in the Big Ten. Probably the guy at Ohio State. Maybe the guy at Wisconsin. Although he's unique, he's a typical Wisconsin running back, and that he's huge. Would that work in other schools? I don't know, but it works there. But this guy's, Anthony Grant's a good player, and you wouldn't trade him at this moment for a lot of the other guys in the league. Maybe Mo Ibrahim, you would. Maybe the guy at Michigan, but he's pretty darn good. So I think Nebraska should be pleased that they got a good player.
Let's discuss the guys that Anthony Grant and Allen are running behind. I thought yesterday, and he wasn't up on the podium, so it probably doesn't get the audio, but I thought Teddy Prohaska was a fascinating interview, Sam, because he walked through the process of where he is right now in this offensive line, and there was some humility in there because he expects to play better, and he doesn't want to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm still coming back." And I kind of thought maybe Oklahoma would be the game that I'd be, back to close to 100%. We're still a couple weeks from Oklahoma. As you look at what that offensive line is, especially on his side where he's got Corker next to him, it looks like Lutovsky played more key snaps in spotting Bando. But as this offensive line evolves, where do you think they are as a whole through 2 games, and where do you think they can go once they get a Teddy knocks some rust off, Corcoran becomes comfortable, maybe they solidify who's going to be the other guard spot? Where do you think they're going?
I think they can get better. I think there's an identity to be found here in the run game. I think one of the challenges that they have is that, for one thing, they don't tend to pull Corcoran a lot. They do a lot of their running to the left. That's where most of their big plays have been. They do a lot of moving Bando or Lutovsky. I'm not sure if Corcoran's mobility is not what they want it to be. I'm not sure there. But they are a little bit left-handed in their running, which is kind of odd. But they've done most of their good running to the left. They have the option component. It looked okay. I don't know what it'll look like in case he pitches the ball, but I thought he did pretty well, and nobody got hurt. Nobody got lit up. They don't have a great quick running game in terms of the jet sweeps or whatever. Those didn't look pretty. I think the offensive line can get better. I think what Teddy said yesterday is that the pass sets have struggled for him. I think he's still kind of working through trusting his knees. The one sack that he gave up, and that was the one that resulted in a fumble, he was on the right side and an unbalanced line next to Benhart. And that's just a shift from what you're normally doing. And so I think he admitted he got a guy let inside. I appreciate him being honest. I mean, anybody who watched that play knows what happened. But he was honest about it. I think he admitted that the tempo piece is they're working through it. It's a big physical line. I wouldn't describe it as a bunch of Sam Jurgens, and so the tempo piece might be challenging. And there are a number of times, guys, where they're snapping the ball with 27 or 28 seconds on the clock, and that's fast. I mean, that is really, really fast. That's about as fast as you can go. Anything around 30. If you're doing above 30, I don't even know how you're doing it, but you're on the goal line or something. But they're moving really quickly, and I think it's probably taxing those guys a little bit. I don't know. I think that group can get better. I'm probably a little bit more optimistic than some other folks. I've heard a lot of pessimism. I've heard a lot of, the season's going to end. Oh my God. And, things, if they lose to Georgia Southern, well, if they lose to Georgia Southern, that's true. They probably won't lose to Georgia Southern. I think they have a chance of beating Oklahoma. I think Nebraska's got more talent. in a lot of different areas than they've had in the past. In recent years, they have to start playing better together. And the one concern I have is the run defense. Now, how much that'll be tested this weekend, I don't know, but there's a concern there. They're not physical enough up front, and North Dakota was able to physically win some battles that they should.
When you're looking at Nebraska along the wide receiving core, can you separate, or are they mutually join when you look at the presence of Coach Joseph and the play of the wide receivers, given what you feel he may or may not have had to work with?
What I see is, so there's two things that jump out at me, and Damon, I'd be curious to know your perspective as well. One, I do think they're blocking better. Not just Manning, but other guys. It does appear that they're blocking better. The second thing that I've noticed is that those guys are ready when they catch the football to do something after they catch the ball. Some of that's Casey. I think Casey pushed the ball in some good spots, especially when it's a shorter throw. But Alontae Brown had a catch. I think it was first completion of the game. And Alontae's ready to make a move there, and he does, and he's able to get a few extra yards. Like, the speed with which they're completing those things looks a lot more like when Keith Williams was there than the intervening years when Troy Walters and Matt Ridiculous. It feels like we're back to where Keith Williams is coaching, and that Mickey Joseph is that kind of coach, and that guys are actually making things happen after the catch. So it looks like they're playing better. And Joseph appears to be pretty hard on those guys. Like, I think their standards are high, and I think I feel more confident right now watching some of those guys on the field. I don't know what you're seeing, but that's the things that I see.
What about, and I like some of the development. I think the drops a little bit. They've got to shore up. Palmer bailed them out on that 50-50 ball, which I'm still, I don't even know why I allow myself to think about it, because as a coach, you make the play and move on. But man, if he doesn't make that play, which was huge. But let me go to the group right next to him with the tight ends. You saw multiple. You saw Brewington. You saw Hickman. You saw A.J. Rollins. You obviously saw Borkature again for a second consecutive week. How about what are you saying with the development of the tight ends?
I thought A.J. Rollins had several good plays, and not catching the ball, just doing things, little things that make you better.
Yeah, he's got to sell the run when Brewington slips out of the backfield. That's the whole key to that piece, is to make that look like run.
He did a nice job. He did. He did a good job there, and Brewington is fearless and plays very hard, which is very appreciated, obviously, by the coaches. So here's the interesting dilemma that they're facing a little bit. They can run. I think they've got a running back who can legitimately get it done. Simultaneously, I think they've got some pretty good receivers. Simultaneously, I don't know that they have great pass-catching tight ends, but they've got tight ends that'll work and will block and will play hard. And that includes Vokalek when he comes back. Which way do you decide to go? Because you can't put 9 skilled players on the field. You can't put 4 tight ends and 4 receivers. So how often do you say, okay, this is what we're going to be? We're going to put 2 tight ends on the field, and we're going to do these unbalanced formations, and we're going to kind of run man schemes and run the ball behind it because we got good running backs who could do it? Or are you going to say we're going to spread it out because we got to get it to these receivers? I still think Marcus Washington's got a lot more to give. I still think that Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda is going to have a nice season. So how do you balance all that? I think one of the challenges Scott's trying to go through right now is I think there were times in Scott's tenure where they didn't have 4 guys among the position group that they felt comfortable putting on the field, and now they have more than that. And you have to decide what are we going to do? Are we going to prioritize the tight ends? Are we going to try to run power? Are we going to try to have a play action passing game? Or what Mark Whipple wants to do. You can tell the first drive at the first and second half in the first 2 games. That's what Mark Whipple wants to do. And they've scored every time.
Yep.
But you can go back and look at the formations. They want to spread it out. and they want to throw the football, and that's what he wants to do. And that's there's only a few teams in the Big Ten who do that. Purdue's one of them, and that's one of the teams that is similar to that. And so finding a way to marry Scott Frost and Mark Whipple and what they want to do, and figuring out when you're going to be the spread passing team, and when you're going to be the post style running team is sort of the ongoing question mark of this team. And I think that's going to determine whether they have a good season or not, to be honest with you, because I don't think the defense is going to be great all season. That's just my take.
Hey, so Sam, when you say that relative to the number of plays Nebraska's ran, Anthony Grant he got 42 carries in 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Remember in the fall, I said, will Nebraska's personnel dictate how Coach Whipple has to call games versus how he wants to call games?
Mm-hmm.
Do we care who's calling plays?
Well, I don't personally care. I think there's obviously a balance there that needs to be found. You hired him to come in and do those things. And again, the plays that Mark Whipple has scripted have scored touchdowns. You go back and look at last season and see how well Nebraska did on the first drive of the game. Not very good. And what they're doing right, I mean, Whipple gets them going, and that's to his credit. I mean, those are plays I think that you watch those, and that's like a lot of what Scott would be doing. And so, there's that. I think Anthony Grant could easily average 25 carries a game. I just don't see any reason why he couldn't. I think he seems durable. He's again, doesn't get hit hard a lot. Like he's able to miss a lot of that physical contact. I think they've got something there, and the challenge is going to be figuring it out, and then the challenge on top of that is going to be balancing it with what I again believe will be a defense that will have to make one of two choices. Either the defense will sit out on that field and give up 7-yard plays until some team scores and take 6 minutes to do it, or the defense will gamble more and they will either take more risks in trying to get the offense behind the line of scrimmage, or they will give up big plays. Because I don't think that's a defense that's going to be like getting a bunch of 3 and out. It's going to be either you take some risks and you try to get a team off the field, or you accept that you may only give up 24 points, but that team's going to eat 34 minutes of the clock scoring that 24, and it kills your offense. I think that's the question that they're going to have to really work through, because that offense isn't getting the ball very much. They only had 62 plays against North Dakota. That's not a lot. And the only way they're going to resolve that is if the defense can figure out a way to get off the field faster. Because you can't run an offense if you're not on the field, and that defense isn't getting teams off the field.
Sam, we appreciate it. As always, good stuff.
Take care.
That's Sam McEwen.
Nebraska ran the ball 38 true times to 24 passes. 38 to 24.
Late, they ran it 8 straight times.
I mean,
it was the longest stretch.
Casey Thompson only had 3 real quarterback runs. The rest of his rushing totals were to called passes where he got sacked or had to scramble. 38 to 24 is probably the way Nebraska wants to play it. And if they run the ball 38 times, I don't know how realistic it is to think that they'll get more than the mid-60s in terms of number of plays.
No.
I just don't know if I don't. I'd have to see that come to fruition.
2 things are pretty prevalent in the first 2 weeks. Their scripted stuff, they work that to the ground in the week leading up to the game. They're 4 for 4 in each half, and they have been effective once they get in the red zone. They're 6 of 7. That has not been the case the last couple of years. So when they get in the red zone, they find a way
not
to
with
score.
Touchdowns anyway.
No. So they get into the red zone and they score. All right, we'll take a break. Come back. Coming up before we're through today, Brian Christopherson, Andy Kendi as well. Don't forget, we're back on Friday ahead of Nebraska, Georgia Southern. We'll be at Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe. Good seeing a lot of people that stopped by that we haven't seen in a while. On Friday, we'll be there from 6 to 10 with all the goodies. That's coming up later on in the week. We're back with more Sharp and Betting in the morning after this.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, And we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Hey, as you kick off a new week here in the month of September and you're looking for that perfect car, truck, or SUV, Woodhouse Buick GMC has you taken care of at 119th and I, their climate-controlled indoor showroom. Now, they have got a full line of SUVs from Buick, from GMC, SUVs that will fit your needs. Now, they've also got a lot of new and pre-owned vehicles that'll take care of what you're looking for if you need a vehicle that especially meets your budget. But the most important thing with Woodhouse Buick GMC, they want you to be confident in your purchase, confident when you leave the lot that you are a member of the Woodhouse Auto family and you got the best deal for yourself. They're in it to win it for you, whether in person, 119th and I, or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com, where you can begin your car buying journey today. All of the same things you'll find in person, you can find online. Plus, you can purchase a vehicle. So check them out, 119th and I, or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some pretty significant slowdown from 192nd to 150th along Highway 370. Then on Dodge, be prepared for some major delays from 94th to 75th. And along eastbound I-680, be prepared for some slowdown near the ramp from I-80 West. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More.
September is Hunger Action Month, and this month you can join Burton in supporting Food Bank for the Heartland. This month, if you donate 5 cans of food at the time of service, you get a furnace safety inspection and cleaning for only $55. Request service at justcallburton.com.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
Shop Lanaha's Garden Center for the best selection of fall color and seasonal decor. Mums, pumpkins, unique gourds, and more. Think fall, think Lanaha Nurseries. 192nd and Center.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Halftime on Sharp and Benny in the morning. 1620 Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the Television, brought to you by Heart Cigars, Pipes, and Lounge. Great location off of Mormon Bridge Road, the North 48th Street exit. A nice cocktail, a cigar, whatever. You just want to chill, relax, be with your friends. Really cool atmosphere. Again, brought to you by Heart Cigars, Pipes, and Lounge.
Hey, we got a podcast. Are you ready all season long? Because I know that you'll have it. Make sure you subscribe to it. Ben Roethlisberger's podcast. Are you ready for a whole season of Big Ben chiming in on the Steelers?
No.
He's got, he made frequent radio appearances, on the Fan there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
he's got a podcast, and I guess he's very opinionated.
Yeah, well, he's very sensitive on social media. Like, he's not afraid to like block and whatever. So I'll be curious to see how the podcast goes.
So have they made it official that Trubisky is your starting quarterback? I know they made him a captain, but that didn't mean anything because they haven't announced the quarterback. Now, Big Ben said, it's got to be Trubisky on his podcast.
Oh, Big Ben.
You're going to be hearing from him all season long.
Well prepared. I'm prepared.
Welcome back in Sharp Betting in the Morning. The NFL begins Thursday night. The Bills and the Rams. By the way, the Super Bowl champion, they're 14-3 straight up in that game that kicks off the season. Should be a fantastic opener out at the home of the Super Bowl champions and where the Super Bowl was played. All right, Brian Christopherson, Andy Kennedy coming up in the last hour. If you remember back in late May, when the Big Ten baseball tournament rolled into town and Nebraska was not part of it, we played Guess the Attendance. Would the Big Ten baseball tournament draw more than the Nebraska-Creighton volleyball match tomorrow? We put the line at like 13,000 for baseball, and we weren't very far off. I think officially they announced like 13-3. Well, if you chose volleyball, you were smart because this is a volleyball state, and there is no more like debating. Wisconsin, wherever else, Texas, no one can compete with volleyball in this state, whether it be from Division I all the way down to club volleyball with high school and JUCO and Division II and NAI, all that in between. But Nebraska and Creighton meet tomorrow night, number 2 against number 17. There are already 14,000 plus tickets sold. The record is 14,022. We could find 22 friends to go and buy tickets to ensure that record is going to be set.
Yeah.
But even more impressive, this is at 5 o'clock because of TV.
We wondered if the time change would matter. We held true though, and we stuck with volleyball being the bigger number.
So record crowd, maybe a sellout.
Yeah. Surprised with the start Nebraska got off to, kind of grinding that they dropped to 2.
No.
Nah, I'm not either. I mean, even Coach Cooks called it kind of ugly.
Yeah, but they have not lost a set. People in this state, when they describe the 6-2 with 2 setters, you can break it down. But no way that tomorrow's a 3-0 sweep.
Hey, how about
No
Nicklin?
way.
How about Nicklin with her words of praise for Coach Hillebrand as Long Beach comes?
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting week for Nebraska volleyball because they have a huge matchup tomorrow night between the 2 elite programs in the state. And then the guy that some think might have left to go to Long Beach State so he could get a little head coaching experience to come back and make a run at the number 1 job when John Cook decides to retire. Yeah, there'll be a lot of emotion this week.
A lot of praise for Coach Hillebrand.
So that'll be fun tomorrow. We'll get deeper into Nebraska and volleyball. Nebraska and Creighton volleyball. Nebraska is 18-0 against Creighton. Creighton coming off a weekend in which they beat USC in a great invitational that they hosted at Sokol.
Highly competitive.
So welcome to the state of volleyball where the Final Four will be. And tomorrow night there will be a record crowd. The most to watch a Division I volleyball match in the regular season will be happening in downtown Omaha. So we'll
this is a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, they should. It's again, it's 5 o'clock, and there are going to be 14,000 people. 5 o'clock because of TV to put it on FS1. It'd be kind of cool if they could make this like a day of volleyball. Like you could start in the morning and go all the way leading up to the Nebraska-Creighton match, and maybe even one after, where you showcase high school and college volleyball programs across the state. It's like this. It's like the state of volleyball day in Nebraska. But it'll be a lot of fun tomorrow night. That should be a really, really good atmosphere for Nebraska and Creighton. Now, it would be curious if they ever played that at Sokol. I don't know that Nebraska would ever go to Sokol and play that. And you make Creighton come to the Devaney Center and play.
Creighton.
But we'll talk to Brett Wagner hopefully tomorrow when he joins us. All right, 8:26. We'll roll through some emails after Nebraska and North Dakota this past weekend ahead of Nebraska and Georgia Southern. Clay Helton is coming to town. And a quarterback that in the odd world of the portal, wasn't it nice this weekend? Speaking of the portal, wasn't it nice? And also on the heels of the college football playoff and the expansion, Wasn't it nice just to talk about the football that was being played this weekend? We didn't talk about NIL. We didn't talk about portal. I didn't talk about the playoff. I just watched the football games. At the end of the day, that thing still exists, is that the football on the field is still the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everybody was pretty happy with that.
I don't understand the timing of the college football playoff. I mean, we had all offseason to do this. Instead, you drop it on the opening weekend. But we still got our football, and we got crazy football.
And listen, it's about the game, man. The rest of that stuff is going to sort itself out. People will be deathly afraid to enter the transfer portal. Coaches will have to think twice because typically it's a lot of lateral moves. There are very few prized possessions in the portal. You know, there are things typically you cannot get at the at the Power 5 level. That's, you know, typically quality O-line, D-line. That is hard to come by. NIL, it's folks will spend their money smarter, especially as folks continue to kind of jump ship with uneven play and still wanting to leave. Like, it's going to fix itself.
But in the world of the portal, Nebraska will face a quarterback on Saturday that they faced last year wearing a different uniform at Buffalo.
Yeah, Van Treese is pretty good, though.
He spun it good against Nebraska last year, and he
just
got a
didn't
good
get
start.
vertical a ton.
No.
Buffalo, but you could see where he's got pretty good command.
They will. So if you don't know about Georgia Southern, and kind of tongue in cheek, but not really, I wondered who was doing Big Red Overreaction on Saturday because that game is not going to be over before 11. Clay Helton showed up, and they play pitch and catch.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive coordinator came from pass-happy Western Kentucky. So Georgia Southern is going to throw the ball all over Memorial Stadium. That's just what they'll do.
And Nebraska's going to have to get lined up.
I looked at the athletic rankings this morning. Nebraska is 73rd, according to the rankings. Georgia Southern 105 of the 131 that play Division I college football.
Moving on up.
8:28. There's Damon. I'm Gary.
Actually holding steady.
Sharp and betting in the morning. 16:20 the zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Can it make the season again? No. There's still 11 games after that, and they have to take care of business. And it's a team that has not, a program that has not. They were 4-2 in 2019.
Right.
The only loss in conference they had was to Ohio State. They were from the East. But this one, no, they got to start out with a win. You, in a way, want to just get the victory so it shows you proof of concept that what you did in the offseason works.
Mm-hmm. Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, kickoff week number 1 of the NFL season with FanDuel. It is our favorite. It is also America's #1 sports book. Damon's looking at the Ravens and the Jets. He's looking at the Niners and the Bears, maybe the Chiefs and the Cardinals. And you can be doing this right now. While he looks up odds and his favorites, $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. All you have to do to get involved with FanDuel is just sign up, Damon, and use our promo code, which is ZONE, to get in all the action.
Yep, you get that promo code, download it. And remember, there's so many options. It's safe, secure, it's easy to use. There's a reason that it's America's #1 sportsbook app. Maybe you looked at that Browns-Panthers and you're thinking, 2.5? Revenge? What is going on? Well, you know what? Sharpie used a couple key words. Risk-free and guarantee. Wow. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Don't fumble your chance. Get $150 in free bets, win or lose. All you got to do is use our promo code ZONE and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 over present Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Some patchy fog possible early Tuesday, mainly east of the metro. Otherwise, expect mostly sunny skies through the morning. Warm and muggy in the afternoon with highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Dingman's Mechanical Repair. We would rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some pretty significant slowdown from 192nd to 150th along Highway 370. Then on Dodge, be prepared for some major delays from 94th to 75th. And along eastbound I-680, be prepared for some slowdown near the ramp from I-80 West. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Come on, when was the last time you had your Fernando's fix? It doesn't get any better than lunch, dinner, carry-out, even catering from Fernando's. Get your Fernando's fix. 114th and Dodge, 75th and Pacific, and FernandosOmaha.com.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi includes advanced security to help protect all your connected devices. You'll get real-time alerts. Oh, like this one, so you don't have to worry about malware. Or when your kid downloads a song from a shady link. And now all your computer can play is
red color, where are you?
all blocked, thanks to advanced security, included with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi. Advanced security must be enabled in the Panoramic Wi-Fi app. Restrictions apply.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Brookside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now. 402-671-7777.
Sunday morning is all about church, eggs, and the Sunday paper. But right next to church, it's made for hot takes and reactions. Severe Reactions. Michael Severe is back on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction. Sundays 8 to 10 and doesn't hold back on what went right and what went wrong on Saturday. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Only on 1620 The Zone.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
J-Tech Solar wants to congratulate Katie and Matt of Omaha, winners of our J-Tech Solar Summer Solar Giveaway. Katie and Matt won a new solar system from J-Tech Solar. If you're a Nebraska homeowner and you're ready to transform your home and pocketbook, head over to jtechsolar.com to learn more.
Sharp and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
Anybody watch Adrian play this weekend? Kansas State went over South Dakota the other night. I know our usual Monday guy, Jimmy Watkins, went down there to cover Adrian's purple debut. Looked like, I don't know, you want to call him a game manager? Just they didn't turn the ball over. They were patient. He had time to go through his progressions with that offensive line. I mean, they won.
Yeah.
I mean, good for Adrian.
Yeah, I'm not going to poo-poo. I like him. So I always hope he plays well. I hope he does well. All those good things, you know. I don't know. I don't particularly know like I get it, but man, it just we're infatuated.
It was weird to see him in that uniform, like wearing purple.
They didn't have to do a ton. I think.
Oh no,
was it like 53 yards or something like that?
Yeah.
11 of 15.
Yeah, they didn't put him in. I mean, also didn't appear that they exhausted a lot of their
No.
offense against South Dakota.
Yeah, because what do they have coming up? Missouri? Is that who's next?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get K-State and Missouri. That's Chris Kleiman's is a really good football coach. I don't care where he's getting his mail.
He's really good at what he does.
They just have an identity. They have the same. He has the same identity he had at North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Guys play smart. What they are is K-State is a direct reflection of the head coach on the field.
Got a staff of good recruiters too. They know what they're doing.
And they're well prepared. Look at teams this weekend that came out of the gate, and again, helps to have the Bryce Youngs of the world, but that are well prepared, that you could tell that they used their camp, that they got guys in the right position. They knew what they were doing. They knew what the game plan was going to be, even with some curveballs that happened during the course of the game. I always recognize that with K-State.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have used Alabama as my example, considering what they had coming back, but I mean, yeah.
But when you have really good players,
I mean, it's not like they were factoring in a lot of new guys. I mean, offense was supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think he handed back his Heisman this weekend.
Nah, he's a good quarterback to start with. Pretty good.
I mean, he accounted for 6 touchdowns, and he's now running the football as well.
Little guy, too. Better be careful.
But they get Texas this weekend. So the line opened up at 17.5. And the line against Utah State was 42, and they won 55-0. So they've covered a big spread before. 17.5 seems right to me.
Yeah.
Texas has got a young defense, which I don't know how comfortable I am going against a Bryce Young-led offense when you're that young. And you've still got a quarterback that's going to be making a second start. Now you have an all-world running back, but you don't think that Alabama is going to have multiple wrinkles for a relatively new quarterback on what they're going to try and do to him?
You'd think advantage and experience goes to Bama in a big way. Big way.
And that is a 11 a.m. kickoff where ESPN and Fox will both be there in certain parts of Austin.
Hello, how you doing? Hey, nice to meet you. Where are you from? Oh, I work with this group. Oh, good. So do we. We're kind of competitors.
Which pregame show will get Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, fudge. I don't know.
I mean, ESPN, the bar is set pretty high with Jack Harlow being their guest picker and performer.
It's no fun if Matty is sober. So hopefully he'll have some time to get live.
See, it's it's an 11 a.m. game, so he's going to have to the night before.
That's what they got mimosas for. Sharpay.
Does Matthew McConaughey strike you as a guy that's drinking mimosas?
Kinda. Does he just ooze testosterone to you?
Oh, he uses party.
I mean, my man is doing like
a one-man party.
Sedan commercials with dim lit light driving down the highway. He's got range, man. You want him to go all tough guy, he can do that. You want him to sip a mimosa in the morning? Maybe he's a Bloody Mary guy, a little bacon or something in there, spicy. Maybe he's just a red beer guy. No, that's just a Nebraska.
That's just a Nebraska thing.
Well, he's been here enough. Maybe maybe he's got some of that in him.
We will discuss the big games of the week as we move along. KG's got an email here in the Equitable Bank inbox.
My resident Texas fan. Wrinkles in payback. Sark took coaches and players.
But did I see this morning the tight end that went there? Is it Billingsley?
Yeah.
Is not going to play?
Well, and listen, there's a reason he struggled with old Nick. Billingsley didn't always want to do the right thing. Remember, that was the epic rant where Saban said, you can't do it your way.
By the way, he's got we're a week into the season and Saban's starting to rack up rants about what media are asking about instead of talking about the current game.
Well, sometimes you find interesting ways to keep yourself motivated.
He went on about
you make yourself the anti, even though folks actually think you're pretty good.
He went on about the depth chart after the game. Yeah. Like some reporter asked about, I don't know, some guard not playing.
Yeah, stop asking me.
But, well, speaking of people not playing, so KG's email. is about Ramir Johnson and his tweet, which has been deleted. Is he an unhappy camper? And man, after the adjustments he has made for the team, does he stick around? So Ramir was liking a lot of tweets after the game against Northwestern of people wondering why he didn't play. And then after the game on Saturday, he got in, poorly thrown pass. That was his really only offensive where you went, okay, 14's on the field on offense. He tweeted out a picture of a caged dog. Now that has since been deleted.
Delete.
But you could, so that's the loyalty part of the head coach who's got a guy who he likes that's been in the program for a while. When he talks about him, and his voice was cracking a little bit when he was talking about Ramir on Saturday, and they talked about him again yesterday and saying, hey, you know, we'd like to get him in. He's, you know, whatever the phrase he has used. Right now, I don't see a spot for him.
Yeah, it's always interesting. Right now, once the fan base doesn't get it because they think they've got their guy. Well, why is he? Oh man, play the best players. It's Anthony Grant. I mean, I don't know, man. Grant's interesting because I like him, but I'm not in love yet.
So let me ask, because I will say this.
I'm consistent.
You
right?
are consistent about him. Why is it just simply his style?
Well,
because you're a big style guy.
Well, sometimes the runs are just harder than they have to be. Doesn't mean he's not talented. It just he's just
okay. All right, talk to me, Goose.
He's just working so hard, and I don't know against like caliber competition will that work. Now he's very good at making guys miss, and he's constantly gaining ground. So maybe I just have to see if he can get by. Like, it's not that I don't like him. I mean, he's fine so far. I'm just not over the top like some, because I need to see if that style works when folks fit in the run game correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he can make you miss clean though. Ooh. As long as he continues to gain ground, he's got a chance. But some of that stuff can just be a lot smoother. You know, it always looks like his legs are going a mile a minute. You know what I mean? So we'll see, because he is very good in small spaces.
He can give you an element that you haven't had. And I think that's the reaction of, you haven't seen a guy that does some of those things in a while.
Yeah.
So now you're like, oh, please let this be the guy. What was your reaction? I didn't get to hear you on Big Red Overreaction, but I'm sure that you guys, you know, carrying Scott's press conference. Again, I was in that room. It was just really odd. I mean, Scott was very emotional. Like you heard it in his voice. But I always go off of, okay, who's he talking to?
Mm-hmm.
When he started to talk about Anthony Grant and not crowning him and making space to retire his jersey, which I didn't think he had to go there, because I don't know that anybody's like, man, this guy is the second coming of blank. But that was just a curious.
He knows we can't handle it.
Just, you know what? He's had 2 games. He's been really good. He helped us out a lot today. But there are more games to be played. Not that he's going to, you know, hey, I'm still rooting for my guy Ramir. It's just, Anthony Grant in a month has to be better than he is right now.
Yeah. He's off to a good start. See, so it's 2 things, right? Grant can only control what he can control, right? You don't check the rear view mirror because you can't drive fast. He just needs to continue to drive fast. That talent will ultimately reveal itself. So he's got to put that in the background. I mean, and really, it's just weird that if we're finally seeing what we want to see from commitment to running the ball, and he's showing you flashes of having the ability to be a really good back, I don't know why we look backwards. Shoot, if there's anybody that would be a bleeding heart, it would be me. And I'm like, okay, well, he's getting beat out. Right? Like, maybe some of that is just experience, because I know what that feels like, but sometimes guys are just better than you. You know, unless, you know, maybe Ramir is one of those guys that's like, well, I could do that. You know, because there still is that in players when they look at other guys.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he thinks, if I just get the opportunity. But I mean, for right now, it's just weird how we're fixated on that.
the room is sorting itself out. I mean, Yant had one offensive snap on Saturday. There are certain position groups where they're starting to sort things out. If you perform, you get rewarded. If you don't perform, then we're now back to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't just, hey, we're putting you out there and you get to continue to be out there if you're making mistakes.
And sometimes it's about how you handle when you're not out there.
Yeah. I mean, are you a pain in the butt?
Right.
You know what? There's guys in front of you that are better. So while you're standing on the sidelines, are you a thorn in my side?
Right.
Are you causing a distraction?
Be a good teammate.
All right. Coming up after the top of the hour, Brian Christopherson, who always has a lot of good stuff after a game like Saturday with all kinds of different moving parts. I did see yesterday they're going to wear those 83 scoring explosion uniforms against Georgia Southern under the lights on FS1.
Be a nice little environment.
Here is a sneaky thing about Saturday night's telecast on FS1.
Now, is this really going to be sneaky, or are you just using sneaky?
Well, no, because I think people will want to listen closely to Mark Helfrich. I don't know if people are all in on his time as an analyst, but listen very closely. I think this weekend during the game to certain things he says, because
what does that mean?
Who is one of his best friends is the guy at Nebraska. So that in the preparation for the game,
questions you get the little game notes.
Yeah, you'll give it a little insight. You might give somebody who you're more comfortable with a little bit more, and he might be sharing that on air. So listen closely to Mark Helfrich this weekend.
Sometimes you just can't help yourself.
Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone.
After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Husker football season is underway, and my friends at Tickets for Less are here for all your Husker ticketing needs, home and away. You want to secure tickets for the next game, or you need to sell your seats for a future game, Tickets for Less can help. Shop the best selection of Husker tickets now at ticketsforless.com, or you can call and order over the phone at 402-398-1999. If you love your Huskers and saving money, ticketsforless.com should be your go-to spot. With no per-ticket fees, you can always save big over the competition. Shop today at ticketsforless.com.
Take your science or healthcare degree to the next level at College of St. Mary and apply to one of our in-demand graduate programs. Earn a Doctor of Physical Therapy with our online on-campus hybrid program. Earn a Master of Science in Physician Assistant Studies in just 2 years, or an Occupational Therapy Doctorate in 3 years. Graduate programs at CSM are inclusive and open to everyone. Plus, we offer an accelerated pathway to several of our healthcare programs for those needing their undergraduate degree. Apply today. Get started at csm.edu.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year, and business has never been better. We continue to grow and add new customers. Many employers are looking for new ideas for their staff as people return to the office. Our pantry service is a great office amenity for staff and guests. Fresh food, snacks, coffee, water, and other beverages for employees and guests. Enhance your office experience with pantry service from Host Coffee. Learn more at hostcoffee.net.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory, explore payment options, and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Marvin Windows has long been known for their lasting value and beauty. Karp's Complete Home Exteriors is Omaha's first authorized Marvin Windows replacement contractor. For a free estimate, call Karp's Complete Home Exteriors or visit karpsomaha.com.
1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Sharpen betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
One thing was pretty clear this weekend in college football, that targeting is all over the map once again. Very subjective on conference to conference, crew to crew on how they apply targeting.
Yeah.
We got to fix. Treat it like soccer. One time yellow card, second time red card, got to go situation.
Yeah, I'm glad that they did not call the Nebraska. I'm glad that they did not call that targeting.
The two on North Dakota?
Yeah. Well, the one along the sidelines at about the 2-yard line in particular.
Yeah.
Because I did not think that that was targeting, and I don't know what else you want a guy to do to break up the play. I like to keep the sanctity of football to some degree so you can play it. But you're right. We saw a lot of reviews on targeting. We saw perhaps the textbook targeting in LSU, FSU.
Which of all the crazy things in that game, that got forgotten about. That you had a guy launch himself, Ali Gay, launched himself, and should have just kept walking. I mean, I know you don't get thrown out, you don't have to go to the locker room, but he should have kept walking. What was he thinking?
I don't know. He's probably frustrated. I mean, because at that point, you thought it may get out of control.
Yeah,
and they found a way to reel it back. How about that last 3 minutes?
Well, the blatant so that's blatant targeting. That might not even be on the top 10 things of craziness that happened in that game.
Oh, I know. It was nuts. Kind of like
a toss when you're down on the goal line and you run a toss play.
Hey, so did you want to know what Lieber was thinking when he tried to pick up that ball on the
Yes,
punt?
I do.
Do you think he thought like maybe since it was deflected, he had a free run at it?
Yes. So that's what I was. I turned to Bishop and said, I think that's what he's thinking. But here's something that happened on Saturday.
I'm just curious if we were trying to get clarity on the rules, whether a block goes beyond the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage.
What's one of the pet peeves is a lot of players don't know rules. You don't know simple rules of football. But also there's here's something that bugged me on Saturday is North Dakota is running a fourth down. What do they need? Fourth down and goal. No, they had fourth down and 2. Okay. So they got a first down before they could score a touchdown. The awareness that it's not fourth down and goal, it's fourth down and 2. And if they get 2 yards, they get another set of downs. And the celebration that happened, Nebraska did this twice on Saturday on defense. I'm like, man, you got to know game and situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just those kind of things as a coach, because that's a direct reflection sometimes on me in my preparation for you. And I look at the LSU game. LSU was all over the map at the beginning of that game. Now, a little bit of it was predicated by Florida State offensively. They were calling a hell of a game.
Yeah,
Travis was
they
on
were
money.
rolling in it. They were rolling.
And they had you on your heels, and frustration started to kick in. You could tell that pretty clear. You'll lose one of your best defensive players just by celebrating a tackle, and now he's gone for the season. You lose another one of your better defensive players because he launches himself helmet-to-helmet contact with a Florida State quarterback. But just the awareness, like game, situation, time, all of that stuff. But we will be talking about the Florida State LSU thing for a long time.
Which is interesting because while I think FSU was on the come, one of the most impressive victories was Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, and how good is Richardson?
Can he get some help?
I don't know if he can keep that up. He's the real deal, though. Anthony Richardson is the real deal because Cam Rising is no slouch, and it was a travesty what happened at the end of that one with that pick. Like, why panic? You got plenty of time.
Made 17 seconds on the clock?
Like, heck of a play by the Deuce for Florida, but man, you didn't have to force that.
No. And he had that one ended up as a pick. He had 2 bad passes in that final drive.
You could just tell he was living on borrowed time.
So Richardson is 6'4", 238, and runs a 4.40.
He is way legit.
If they can find him any help on the offensive side, like consistently, then they may have something in Napier's first year.
Yeah, I think the most impressive team in a loss, if there is, like if you're looking for a silver lining, I don't even know why that just came on. If you're looking for a silver lining, would have to be Notre Dame. Because they appeared to be very well coached. And I'm not just saying that because I like Freeman. But here's the thing about Ohio State. You talk about situational game awareness.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed. Right. And sometimes I get the sense that they're fortunate they're so talented. I look at how they played in Lincoln to try to salt clock. I look at how, like, for whatever the reason, man, how did Freeman only have 15 carries? Henderson only have 15 carries in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there are just some weird things situationally that I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and I know you have an embarrassment of riches. I still can't believe Smith and Jigba got up from that shot that he took. I mean, not only did he do the splits, I mean, he got rocked.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he didn't feel great after, but just to even get up.
So what they say, 2 weeks?
Yeah. I'm fortunate, man, if it's only 2, because that did not look good real time. And I remember when he first got up, I looked at Lob. I looked at Kel. I was like, man, good on that guy for being able to get up. Because that was no bueno.
You know,
I like to say.
So watching the Florida State LSU game Sunday night, I'd gone outside because I was going home, and because Florida State was they got the ball back and they were driving. So I'm like, this game is over. And then all of a sudden on Twitter, I see, oh, Florida State, why'd you do that? Sprinted back into the house because I wanted to see what happened.
Oh,
and that's
running the toss on the goal line?
And they fumbled, and then LSU drives all the way down. They have the controversy at the end on the clock, and then they get the touchdown, and then they have the blocked extra point. But another thing about college football this weekend that is so great about this sport you don't get in the NFL is the flat-out trolling. You see what Arkansas did to Cincinnati?
No.
They made a reference to Skyline Chili with their victory. But the Florida State band playing neck right after the blocked extra point.
That is so petty.
Oh, but that's college football. That's great. The social media in college football. One, for the team that wins, and then when you read the replies of the team that loses and all they post is the final score and how people reply. I mean, college football is such a great, great sport.
You got some good ones this weekend too. So we're not whining about NIL in the transfer portal?
Nope. We're enjoying our football.
Okay.
We'll talk about the playoff when the year is over.
How about the president's just like, man, we're not about to miss out on all this money. Let's just try to make our own decision. Now you're going to need some help now because TV revenues and why, if you're the Big Ten and the SEC, are you going to now be like, oh, okay, let's expand?
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like once those conferences, they should have done it before the 2 conferences grew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you want 4 representatives from the Big Ten and 6 from the SEC? Best wishes with that.
Isn't it great that when they always They do something before they have a plan in place.
It's just backwards.
No, but see, NIL portal playoff, go away for a while. We just want the football games.
In that order?
It was nice. You weren't talking about, well, name, image, likeness. Is Addison going to be able to come to you? All right, he's at USC playing football now. It's become the
Caleb Williams look pretty good. He looks pretty good.
Didn't USC
not sure that he cares what I think. I don't know how likable that guy is, though.
There was watching them against Rice. That felt like USC.
Yeah, I thought they were much better defensively than I thought that they would be.
I agree.
Not that Rice was going to be some juggernaut, but I mean, I think Rice threw for 69 yards. That's not like a hutch. And I think Williams only had 3 incompletions. Something like that.
Just a nice little pitch and catch.
Yeah.
They got a intriguing game against Stanford on the farm on Saturday night. But Mizzou, K-State, Wake Forest, Vandy, Tennessee, Pitt, Kentucky, Florida, Mississippi State, Arizona, who got a huge win. Talk about portaling.
Really keeping an eye on Vandy. Is quarterback play there for real? They got some other pieces.
If you have Wright in fantasy football, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Iowa State, Washington State, Wisconsin, South Carolina,
I like
Arkansas.
it. That's the one that all fair you said, hey, there's kind of a sneaky game.
Rattler against Jefferson. And Arkansas is a 7.5-point favorite.
And those are two programs that people, think can tap you on the shoulder if you're not paying attention.
All right, last hour upcoming. Brian Christopherson joins us next.
No matter how dark it gets, there's always a sunrise, a warm bed, a warm meal, and hope. Sienna Francis House serves hope to those experiencing homelessness and addiction. Every day, we provide more than 1,000 meals and serve nearly 500 guests in our emergency shelter, Miracles Recovery Program, and supportive housing apartments, and help our guests navigate a path to permanent housing. Learn more at siennafrancis.org.
A lot of great locations, 42 degrees. A lot of folks try to imitate. You just can't duplicate. Why? Well, it's not just because of all the great locations typically located right by your mom's house. Always clean, always friendly, but perhaps the difference makers, knowledgeable. That's why they are the go-to source. The training that the staff receives on all the products, it's pretty impressive because there's a lot going on the minute that you walk through the doors. Different strength levels, different comfort levels. They even go vegan and gluten free. How is that for options, right? So do yourselves a favor. Stop on in, talk to the staff at 42 degrees to get yourself a free sample. That's all you really need to do. Try it and try it for free to boot. They've even got stuff for your pets as well. All natural products from wildlife. The good stuff that I give to the pups. Even though a lot of you folks thought the dogs were overweight, they aren't. The camera was adding poundage. That's all right. Won't be for you too. A huge selection to stop by at 42 degrees. It's right by your mom's house.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some major delays from 96th to 79th along L Street. And then on Dodge, be prepared for some major slowdowns from 94th to 84th. And then along Center, be prepared for a little bit of a delay from 192nd to 175th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Don't let high gas prices kill your summer plans. Saul's is the place to beat the summer budget crunch with cash on the spot loans to help you get out of town, book that flight, or take that epic road trip. Cash on the spot, your summer getaway at Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Introducing the all-new 2 for $5 menu at Sonic. Can't decide on what to eat? We made the choice a little easier for you. Right now at Sonic, you can choose any 2 of these mouth-watering classics. The full-size Fritos chili cheese wrap, small crispy jumbo popcorn chicken, or a juicy quarter-pound double cheeseburger for just $5. Get more of what you want with the all-new 2 for $5 menu, only at Sonic or in the app. Exclusions apply. Mobile ordering available at select locations. Hours may vary. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins. Fritos is a trademark of Frito-Lay North America, Inc. Copyright 2022.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Creighton Sports Update.
You won't want to miss out on championship-level volleyball on the state's biggest stage as nationally ranked Creighton and Nebraska face off at the CHI Health Center this Wednesday. First serve is set for 5 p.m. Limited tickets are still available online at gocreighton.com/tickets. That's this Wednesday at 5 p.m. on FS1.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs, and most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. Sharp and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app. Here are Gary Sharp and Damon Benning.
2 to the near side, 1 to the far side. Turn. Give it off to Grant. He picks his way inside the 45, bounces to the outside, 40, 35, 30, foot race now, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
All right, last hour on a Tuesday, we welcome in Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. Hopefully had a good holiday weekend. Back at it. The 2 coordinators speak later this morning. Good morning, BC.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, B. How are you? Are you doing well? Doing well?
I'm I can't complain. I'm swell. We have an early practice here. They get done at 10 to 10:30, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey, off of Saturday, did you learn anything about Nebraska's fourth quarter that you did not know already about this team, or gives you something to work on this week going into Georgia Southern?
Well, I mean, I think the fourth quarter was pretty encouraging. You're walking right up to the cliff in that game, and you can see the edge. And the tension in the stadium was obvious for 3 quarters, where you could just feel everybody was on edge. And, until Trey Palmer made that catch on the 3rd and 14, it just felt like some shoe's going to drop here, isn't it? And there was even that feeling against a North Dakota opponent. But then what I liked is they got going downhill after that Palmer catch. You could see an offensive line start to pick up a little bit of confidence. The backs were running with a purpose. And it kind of ended how it was supposed to, where you're flexing your muscles. I think they ran for 118 yards in that fourth quarter.
Correct.
And so you got to give them their props for that. They finished it strong, and that was their last quarter of football that's on film, and now you try to build off of that. And I actually do believe, guys, last week was a really challenging week behind the scenes. I know that you don't want to just make that as an excuse or anything, but it was real. Like they were struggling not only with getting back with the Dublin thing and the emotional loss, but they had the flu bug going through that team last week a little bit. It was just I think they had a very challenging week, already early in the season. And I think the positive is they came out of it with a win, and now it's a normal week. And let's see if you can be better than people think you are.
Yeah, you know what's interesting with that, BC, is, and maybe it's just because I think I got a good pulse on this team emotionally. I'm always looking at the baby steps, right? Not panicking when the game got close against an alleged lesser opponent, the ability to overcome themselves, the small moral victories that are more about the mind than the physical talent, because we're better physically in so many categories, folks, that's ultimately going to be important if those folks are right about comparing 2021 rosters to 2022. It's going to be the 6 inches between the ears that'll make that come to fruition.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, forget the opponent. Saturday was the ultimate mind game at halftime. I mean, that was, that's one of those games where if you lose, you don't know what's happening the next couple days around here. So to gather like they did, they get the ball to start the second half. And I was curious, like, is this team going to be so tight? It's just one of those deals. I was thinking about, like, even games against, like, McNeese State I've seen in the past where it felt like Nebraska's offense just got so tight that nobody could make a play. And it was just such a struggle. And they're very fluid on offense. So I think there was a lot of good things on that side of the ball, especially in the second half. I mean, they scored 31 points. And you're right, that's the biggest challenge for this team is to sort of get out of their own heads, not just as a team, but certain individuals. I mean, Teddy Prohaska was very honest with the media yesterday about his specific individual challenge after such a tough injury and the long layoff. And he's got to get out of his head a little bit, as he's dealing with that and trying to play football at one of the toughest positions in sport. So there's all these guys have different little things they're dealing with. But I think the one part I've stressed, and I think it does matter, you've got some new guys who Nebraska's baggage of the past isn't necessarily their baggage. And some of those guys kind of rose to the scene, to the surface there when they had to. So that was good to see. And obviously, I think we've seen through 2 games, Anthony Grant, he can be a special player, I think. I not just the jump cuts and, when he has these explosive runs, but I'll tell you what, that 7-yard run out of really nothing on the first drive of the second half, that was just a guy with, some vision and purpose. And it kind of kept that drive on track. And that was a key. That was one of those kind of not explosive plays, but really big plays in the game, I thought.
Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 joining us. Let's jump over to the defensive side of the football. Are we just going to have to buckle in for the next 10 games that run defense is just going to be an issue all year?
Well, I think they got to get better, else it is going to be a long year because, right now it's, what is they having? They're giving up 195 a game, something like that. They're at 98. They're ranked like 98th in rush defense. I know we're only 2 games, 1 game into the season for some people, but it's been pretty bad against teams that are okay, but you're going to see better rushing football teams. So that defensive line has to come a little bit further, and you got to have some guys that know their responsibilities a little bit better and don't get out of position, I think. And, I've never claimed to be a scheme expert and get all into the X's and O's. There's a lot of people who are way better at that than me, but you just see some guys miss some fits. You're going to have to get your safeties to keep growing on the job. And that was a big concern spot to me going into this season, was I think people took Deontay and Markell for granted and just that they were consistent. And I like the ceiling of Marquise Buford, and Miles Farmer's a guy who I think really is trying to lead back there, but they're just going to have to keep getting better week after week. And obviously it's a tough deal when Ernest Hausman, who's going to be a really good player for this program, starting a game in his second college football game. That's just a tough test. So I think he learned a few lessons, and he's the type of kid who's going to get better off those lessons. So every week you got to just put another step in front and hope that by, October 1st or so, you're a team that can go on a little bit of a run and get off the field. That's another thing. When you've got a team 3rd and 12 a couple times and 3rd and 9, there was 3 of those conversions I can think of offhand where they let North Dakota off the hook, where they actually had played good run defense on the early downs. And those are the times where you really have to be opportunistic if you're a defense with some warts.
Hey, BC, considering this has gone through a full-time coordinator and an analyst, I feel like we kind of let special teams off the hook just because it's Coach Bush, but some of it is a bit of a head scratcher. Like, why do you think Nebraska, throughout multiple coaches, can't figure out when and when not to return a kick?
Yeah, that's disappointing.
As
even
a player, I would own that, right? Like, I'm pretty sure there's a few base rules you go by, but why Nebraska can't get that thing right?
Yeah, and then they couldn't decide who wanted to field the one kick, which wasn't that difficult a one to handle, and they drop it, so you end up starting that one drive at a tough time in the game at like your own 15-yard line. And I don't know. Yeah, I think players got to take responsibility, and I'm sure Bill Bush drills that stuff into their heads, knowing him. But it always comes back to coaches too, and you gotta, if it doesn't look right, you gotta keep drilling it till it does. I think the bones of the entire operation looks better, honestly, but the thing that is disappointing is there's always like a couple little things every game that sort of steal it, and they just intercept whatever the good nucleus is behind it. It gets intercepted by, okay, Wyatt Lever tried to go get on that ball. They're not returning a kick when they should, And so that's always comes to the front of it, and is just totally interrupting what I think they're probably doing good stuff at a lot of spots, 90 to 95% of the time. But you got to be almost 100 in that unit, otherwise it's always going to be a C grade or below by the end of the day.
All right, so let me ask you something, because I think the elephant in the room is they're both popular guys and they're quote unquote Nebraska guys. Who's closer to meeting the fans' expectations so far, Mickey Joseph or Bill Bush?
Good question. That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. I think right now I think the wide receivers are ahead of special teams. I feel like the wide receivers, when I think of weak spots on this team, I see that, there's a drop here or there. There's stuff that can get better, but I don't look at them as a weak spot going forward. I look at them as a group that you have some confidence that is going to keep getting better. You've got 4 or 5 guys you're starting to feel pretty good about. Trey Palmer can make plays. Marcus Washington, I think, can get more involved than he has. And Alante Brown, I think, is starting to finally realize his potential at that position. And I think he's figured out how to use Omar too, and make Omar who he really is within this team, and they can grow in that. So to your question, I think through 2 games, I would say the wide receivers have been more encouraging to me than special teams. But I'm not completely down on special teams. I just think there's a couple knucklehead things every game. It's just like, can they finally they got to start to get that in order this week, because I do think there's a lot of stuff foundation wise that's solid. And I mean, I think Buschini has changed how you feel about that part. And I do even think, Javen Wright blocked the punt, and there was another, one later in the game where I thought they ran something a little tricky, and it looked like somebody came close to getting another one. So I think they've got more tricks up their sleeve and can do some more interesting stuff there. But I mean, the point is, Damon, and you're making it, if there's 2 or 3 of these things every game that pop up and you hit a kick, even if it's a squib and all that stuff, that's what ends up controlling the conversation, and it should, because that's what can cost you games.
So when you're looking at has met or exceeding, and I'm totally biased because he kicked our rear ends in high school, and he's a better athlete than he looks. Is that Isaac Gifford, the guy?
Yeah, I think he's going to be. I think he'll be good, just like his brother was. And you saw with Luke when he got healthy, he was going to be a guy who everybody undersold, but is still trucking along and having NFL dreams. He's that kind of guy. I think Isaac has as much potential as his brother, and I think people have to remember at that position that as good as JoJo was last year and could be on a given week, like against Ohio State, when he was honestly in that game to me as good as about anybody on the field, which is saying something. JoJo earlier in his career had to really figure a lot of things out and had some very costly mistakes he had to learn from. So that position is very difficult. And so when Isaac is sort of bumping around and still figuring things out, I do think of, JoJo Doman was that guy too a year or 2 before that, So I think there's a lot to like there. And, he finished, I think, with 8 tackles. I think he finally got their first TFL on that play where he just shot his gun. And, there he was. And that was a little bit of a spark. So I think he's taking over that spot right now. It was very much an ore fest going into the season, but it feels like he's starting to grip it a lot more.
This is total speculation, but I would be willing to guess. Maybe I could ask Duval. I bet you Gifford has better testing measurables than Doman.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think he's going to be really good. Like, it's just there's going to be some times where there's a pothole and you're going to see it, and that's the way it's going to be with him. That's the way it's going to be with Marquise Buford and Tommy Hill. And Ernest Hausman you could throw in there too now at this point. But I think all 4 of those are guys you get really excited about. The thing I wrote about Sunday, it goes to the offense, it goes to those guys, is Nebraska's in kind of a race against time because of this setup where it's year 5 of Frost, not year 1. But yet you've got all these sort of fascinating guys in key roles, like in their first years. And but they've got to figure it out against the clock here quickly because there's a lot riding on this season. So that's where the storyline sort of sits. But
Sharpie and I have been talking.
Guys,
sorry, BC. Sharpie and I have been talking for the last 6 months. If 2022 is good, 2023 could be really good. That only ramps up the level of pressure to look more than serviceable as a unit and as a staff. You know what I mean? Like, because there's some potential there.
Yeah, and I'm guessing the coaching staff has thought about that a lot. Like, just get this to a certain point, and we've got a nucleus here that can be pretty special over the next couple of years. And fans, I think, are a little skeptical of that stuff now because they're just like, yeah, let's see it 1 year and then we'll see if you can even improve on that the next year. But I do like a lot of those young parts on defense. Gifford is definitely near the top. I think Tommy Hill needs to become maybe a more physical corner, like sort of Quentin Newsom was doing last year. But I think you can see that he's going to be a very good guy as a cover man. And Marquise Buford is already really one of the top leaders on this team as a second-year guy in the program. And, I mean, it was sort of telling that Garrett Nelson was open to us after the game Saturday about Marquise Buford was the guy who really got him out of his funk after the Northwestern game, and so that's the type of kid he is. So all those
he got out of his own funk on one series. Right, he was embarrassed on the long run. Then he makes back-to-back plays on the goal line.
Yes, that was big time. If that guy scores on the long run, it's plays like that where everybody in the stadium is ticked off, and you can really get ticked off at yourself as a defense for this happen. But that's a good sign when you see a young player hustle first off to not let it be a touchdown. And then a few plays later, come back and keep them out of the end zone, knowing that play's done. I'm on to the next one. That's a good example of a short memory from a DB. And, because that's not easy to do in the moment, because you know what it's like when you're down on that field when a play like that happens, and everybody, especially right now with Husker football, that stadium's like, you can just feel it hovering, like this negative energy. And so to come back a couple plays later like that was pretty impressive.
What do you think will be the key to getting off the field on third down? Because North Dakota was able to complete third down and long passes. But what do you think moving forward will be the key to getting off the field?
Well, I mean, you got to keep ramping up the pass rush, but you also got to get it done in coverage. There was one time where I can't blame coverage at all. It was that like 3rd and 12 early in the third quarter where, QB just bought a lot of time, and that you can't cover that long. But there are a couple times where, DBs missed tackles in space, and there were opportunities to get off the field if you just do the fundamentals right. You think of the third play of the game, it was 3rd and 9, and Farmer, one of the veterans on this team, has a guy, locked up a yard or two short of the marker. Easier said than done, easier said from the press box than done on the field, but just, air tackled him, and ended up being a 12 or 13-yard gain. North Dakota held the ball for 5 more minutes. They didn't score on that drive, but that was a play that was a huge negative play for Nebraska because it set the tone for how this was going to be a keep away first half. And, that's getting off the field on third down is making that sure tackle 2 yards short of the stick. Phelan Stanford actually came in later and was in there in one of their packages and made a big tackle on a play like that 2 yards short. So I think that's the answer, honestly. It's you've got to be fundamentally sound short of the sticks, know where they are, make that play right when you got to. And if you can keep them, if they gain 7, so what? If it's 3rd and 9, you're still off the field. So that's where they got to rise up and be better technique-wise and just sounder.
I think it's important to be able to have some immediate consequences, too, when you got to coach a guy up on the sidelines where you can put another guy in the game so you can keep repeat mistakes from happening.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's a lot of learning on the fly going with this team, and I don't think it's going to be easy. I'm not trying to paint an overly rosy picture because I think people are right to be concerned. I do think where we started the conversation, if you're within those walls, that's where you focus on is you guys finished in a tough spot. It was a tough week. Let's grow from it. And we got a chance this week to, right now the point is show you're better than everybody thinks we are. I wrote that, it's different than the Denny Green quote of yesteryear. It's everybody thinks you're bad. Show them you're something else, and that's got to be the determination. And they had a good quarter to finish. And now, they got to put a first half like that together where on Saturday at halftime, they've got a little space. They got a little room to breathe. You can play some guys to build up morale on your roster. That helps too when guys have been working. It stinks when they're playing a team where you think you might get in the game and you can't get guys in the game too. You don't want to take things for granted, but those are missed opportunities. So this is an important week to jump out and flex early and get some guys on the field and play with some confidence.
All right, BC, we always appreciate the conversation. Good seeing you this Saturday. We'll see you this upcoming Saturday.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, B.
Let me go back to the punt return real quick.
Which one?
Player or scheme? No, because so the last 2 years, Nebraska's had the opportunity to field 67 punts. That's just how many punts have been against them. Maybe take 20 off that have been actually where you could field them. They have returned in 14 games, 10 punts, the longest being 11 yards. It seems to be a carousel of who's back there.
Yep. Player
to return or the plan? Because it
Um,
is a mystery.
Gosh,
That you-
it's hard. It's bypass coaches, but it's been different players too.
Yeah, almost every
The only guy that's the same really in both those instances is the coach, head coach.
or the guy that's probably taken the most, and a lot of them are fair catches, is Oliver Martin,
Yeah, but he's only the guy that's inside the 10.
which is how come you can't have a guy that's inside or outside of the 10?
I don't even know why they do that, considering how much flack he takes for his judgment on pass catching. He sure can judge when to catch a punt, right? So maybe it's not him. Maybe it's what's asked of him. That's a tough question. The inability to know when to return a kick is nothing short of maddening. It really is, because it's such a buzzkill.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's. Are you concerned that the line is less for Georgia Southern than it was for North Dakota? After Vegas gets a chance to take another look at Nebraska?
Maybe just a little.
And why did they balloon before the game?
I don't know. That went quick. Like, we were talking about on Friday, how the line was, we're trying to make sense of it. Yeah, it went up 8 points.
And
from one morning to the next.
The total escalated too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, 9:30. Andy Kendi will join us before we close up shop on this Tuesday. Lots over the next couple of days about the NFL. Tomorrow we'll get into Nebraska-Creighton meeting in volleyball before a record crowd. And don't forget on Friday with another Football Friday festival. We'll be back at Jonesboro's ahead of Nebraska and Georgia Southern. And, of course, Bellevue West and West Side.
Is that this week?
You're handling it pretty well.
It's early.
Okay.
No, I really, really like our game plan. Now, we'll see if we can execute it, but it's as cohesive as we've been on a style so far this year. So I think we can play fast. I was amazed at our practice yesterday, coming off a Sunday, and it was super early. We had Dr. Widman come in early, which is huge because the mental approach totally sets the tone. It was, I mean, I'm excited. It's put up or shut up time for a lot of people, West Side and WS included.
Who's going to be calling play so I can use that on the broadcast?
Well, you got Coach Huffman and you have Coach Sikora.
There will be, parking's going to be at a premium in that neighborhood. There will be a lot of college coaches that'll be standing around the track.
Yeah,
at Phelps Field.
Had a ton reach out. It'll be fun. It'll be really fun.
All right, Sharp Betting in the morning. We'll discuss that later on in the week as well on a football Friday on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
90-ish% of the time, the answer is always Aquaman. And brainwashing fish, you know what? Actually, Aquaman could come in handy because if he were over in Ireland right now, he could just stand on the Nebraska sidelines, brainwash all the people eating their fish and chips. Oh, yum. The fried fish jump out of the basket.
Come back to life.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Some patchy fog possible early Tuesday, mainly east of the metro. Otherwise, expect mostly sunny skies through the morning. Warm and muggy in the afternoon with highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
There are actually two kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
At Dingman's Collision Center, you voted them first place in Best in Omaha for the past 17 years. So they want to say thank you for choosing the Dingman family and their incredible technicians to repair your vehicles. At Dingman's, they'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
Can't wait for Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard's September 23rd fall opening? Well then, come to the Cider and Sunflower Festival September 9th, 10th, and 11th. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is open 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday with fireworks on Friday and Sundays till 9 p.m. Season passes will be accepted during this festival weekend, and you can purchase individual tickets online and at the gate. So come on out to the Cider and Sunflower Festival September 9th, 10th, and 11th at Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska.
Sunday morning is all about church, eggs, and the Sunday paper. But right next to church, it's made for hot takes and reactions. Severe Reactions. Michael Severe is back on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction. Sundays 8 to 10 and doesn't hold back on what went right and what went wrong on Saturday. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Only on 1620 The Zone.
Leading Ladies, brought to you by Indeed. Indra Nooyi, former CEO of Pepsi, was the first woman of color and first immigrant to head a Fortune 50 company. Famous for her strategic guidance, she doubled Pepsi's profits by offering more low-calorie options and cut back on their carbon footprint through leaner packaging and renewable energy, making her a leading lady. You need to hire fast and hire right? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates efficiently. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
After 24 years as an Omaha staple, Horseman's Park Simulcast facility is getting ready for major renovations on Sunday, September 18th. The Simulcast facility is preparing to move to its transitional infield location. So before casino construction begins, don't miss this opportunity to watch and wager on over 700 TVs. Take advantage of food and drink specials, door prizes, and so much more. Come enjoy Horseman's Park before we move to the track infield. Open 7 days a week. Horseman's Park, Omaha's best bet.
Trees supply oxygen, provide shelter, and reduce pollution. They're a symbol for life. Lanahaw Nurseries is the metro area's premier homegrown tree source. Leave a legacy that matters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and included 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
So the two coordinators speak today in Lincoln. Vokalek and Henrich did not play on Saturday. Nick had a big old bandage, big thumper on his right hand after injuring his hand against Northwestern. So more Ernest Hausman, who that says a lot when you are the first running back up, that you are out there starting.
Linebacker.
As he made his start, what did I say?
Running back.
He could play both. But as a inside linebacker, there's somebody that just needs to play.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that the world is spinning, while he's playing and trying to figure everything out. And I also think, and this will be curious this week, as they started yesterday going ones-on-ones, like not going full speed in practice to physicality, I think limited Hausman. Because you can tell that he's a little bit tentative and the quick blinker from high school to college, that big jump, is he knows what he's doing, but guys are by him.
Yeah.
Or he's going way too fast, which was a major problem the first half on Saturday.
Yeah, I just think with that scheme and how they want to occupy and like playing pullers and fitting fast flow, you have to do that pretty quickly. And if guys are winning up front because you're not going against like caliber competition, those plays never get to you.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't.
Yeah.
Like if you win at the point of attack and guys don't get through creases and come downhill on you, you don't know what it feels like. And you got to know what it feels like. It's the only way you know which shoulder to use, why using the right shoulder or the left shoulder is important, who you're actually spilling to, like all that stuff matters.
Regardless who's playing at inside linebacker, they all need to, that as a group as a whole has to play better.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Reimer has to be better than he's been the first 2 weeks.
We kind of took that position for granted because
yeah, we did.
I mean, Coach, he's done nothing to show us that his guys don't get better every year, because they certainly have.
And we saw, especially in Reimer, how he played last year. But Luke Reimer's got to be better than he has been the first two games. I mean, he's better than that. But too many missed tackles from a guy that's played a lot of football at Nebraska.
And that one gets down to fundamentals, in my opinion.
Which
fundies.
Then you think, okay, man, you've been here for a while. I mean, that there's some point that just becomes ingrained.
You still have to rep it, though. I think. I really do.
We're gonna find out what this week has been like. That's what I keep saying. This is the Frost week. Because he put it out there.
Where are we emotionally?
Well, ahead of a game that you know what it'll mean, but you can only get there if you take care of work on Saturday.
I agree.
But if you're changing how you're going to practice this week, and you've said it out loud, and they did. I mean, he wasn't just saying it for us. Players were saying what kind of practice they had yesterday. They were doing that kind of stuff. Then you have to show it. Okay, some of the mistakes that have happened in the first 2 weeks that you think can be fixed by going full speed.
Yeah.
You put it out there. All right, 9:40. AK is coming next. Sharp and Betting in the morning at 16:20 The Zone.
After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
The NFL season is coming up. It begins Thursday night. FanDuel can be your best friend because to get started, $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet with America's #1 sportsbook. Just sign up using promo code ZONE. That's right. Promo code ZONE.
Promo code ZONE. That's what you got to do when you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. FanDuel is kicking off the week with no sweat bets for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a new customer or you already have an existing account. You'll get free bets back if you don't win. You know what? Just log in for yourself and see, right? It's fast, it's safe, it's secure, it's easy to use, and it's got pretty quick payouts as well.
And you look at some of these lines. The Colts are an 8-point favorite against Houston. They blew them out twice last year. I have Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor, a couple of those lines. Maybe you look at some of the bigger lines, Ravens and the Jets from the opening weekend. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose. Promo code ZONE. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 over, present Iowa. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Brookside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now. 402-671-7777.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We are rapidly growing and adding new customers, which means we need new route drivers and service technicians. We have new jobs for those new to the industry with little or no experience, and new careers that require knowledge in the coffee and vending world. There's a good chance we have just what you need in a new job. Host Coffee offers competitive pay and understands the work-life balance. Apply today at hostcoffee.net/careers and join our team.
Everyone, who's manning the front tonight?
Big E's nightclub needs a bouncer with a military background.
Dougie, I need you to keep eyes on the back.
Security who lays down the no when the uns get too intense.
That Swedish DJ duo is back tonight. Y'all remember last time.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Oh, here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
The passion and excitement of high school football continues every week, and the high school football update covers it all every Saturday morning. Join veteran sportscasters Jim Kelter and Torrey Pantalian Saturday mornings 8 to 10 on 1180 The Zone.
Sharpen betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
All right, Sharp Betting in the morning. Welcome, our good friend from KTV. Just like the football team in Lincoln, him and his crew going to have a normal week now that you've gotten jet lag out, being back from Dublin. Andy Kendi joins us now from KTV. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, fellas. Who's ready for some football? Friday night, Delp Field, Bellevue West and West Side. It's our monster matchup. Can we start building this thing up anymore?
AK, I have no idea what you're talking about, but how did you pick this game as your monster matchup, though? I'm curious.
Sometimes it's just the decision is made for itself, right? It jumps off the page, DB. Best game of the year. I think Stu called it the best regular season matchup of the season. I tell you what, you go start, if you want to make some money, go start staking out some parking spots and then scalp them near game time.
Yeah. Stu also called it the Portal Bowl of the year. Yes. He said that to me twice the other night. Yes.
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Stu doesn't have he needs more things to do, right? Like the low-hanging fruit he tries to pick without knowing crap from Shinola is nothing short of fantastic. Like he is unbelievable.
Hey, you know what? I will say, getting back to this
and it's clear he has his favorites too, right? Like
sure.
I mean,
sure.
My man keeps that axe sharp when he wants to grind it. Get out a little more, Stu.
But I'm telling you, DV, let's talk about this. If you like high school football, you like football, period. I mean, this matchup has just about everything. So we can't wait. Foster's going to be on that one. We got fan favorite choices as well, but this one is going to be a good one. Some great high school football so far. We were talking in the press box before the game about, there's probably 5 or 6 teams that have separated themselves in Class A already. And, right now you could put them in a hat and say, let's see who rolls them out on Friday, who's going to be the better team. Because as we go on, we're going to learn a lot of things, and I think we're going to learn a lot of things on Friday night.
Well, if you can't make it into Phelps Field because it's sold out, we'll be on Cox
Is
with
there
the
such
game
a
of the
thing?
week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Game of the week.
Well, now I think they just let people line up along the track, like behind the fence.
Oh,
but the stands will be packed.
Yeah, should be.
Huh?
That's our home opener.
Which is weird to say 3 games into the season.
Right.
All right.
Only one of 4, right, DB? Only 4 home games for the Warriors this year.
Yeah, that is correct.
Hey, so just like Nebraska only has 7 home games, that means the parking spots will be a lot more expensive over by West Side, like they are in Lincoln.
Listen, we drove by. There was an $80 to get into a lot over in Lincoln. $80. I was like, is that for the season or just for today? And the guy said, yeah, it's just for today. $80 to get a parking spot near Memorial Stadium the other day.
So I don't understand. Like what happened to the supply and demand? Like why the increase?
I have no supply chain. Yeah. That's the only thing I can go with.
Are they preparing for heat? What it may cost to heat your home in this winter, or get ahead of the game, or what?
They must be. I mean, people who are able-bodied just, could park about a half mile away and walk.
Yeah, I
never
think,
understood that.
I think I noticed every parking spot that I usually drive by, like lots, went up at least $5 from last season.
Yep. Yep. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
All right. How would you assess the first 2 weeks of the season?
Mixed bag. I heard you guys talking earlier about secondary, and yes, that's a concern. I think I still go back to my biggest red flag is I watch the big boys in the middle, and I think that's my biggest concern. I mean, I think the Huskers are in decent shape with their skill position players, and they've got a good quarterback, and they've got obviously a star in the making in Anthony Grant, and they've got capable backups at running back, and they've got a good stable wide receivers. But shoot, if you can't open holes and if you can't block the guy in front of you, and vice versa, if you can't stop the run, I think that's the storyline I'm going to keep going back to. And I don't care who's calling the plays. If you can't block them, you're not going to win games. And I watched a lot of the interior line play on Saturday, and that's alarming to me. It's alarming to me that they couldn't manhandle that squad. So if they can't do it against North Dakota, it troubles me to see what they're going to do down the stretch.
Hey, Andy, did you ask the coaches or the staff? I can't remember if it came up in the presser about using the timeouts defensively when North Dakota State was driving.
That did not come up. I think, and that was right before half, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row now, DB, that I have been puzzled with clock management, timeout usage before the half. I thought one of the underplayed storylines against Northwestern was before half, giving Northwestern not one but two chances to stop the clock, which Scott Frost did before half, which I think elongated that drive and allowed them to score. And, that was a turning point in that game, in my opinion. I don't understand what's the harm in maybe, letting that clock run a little bit. So, and then the Saturday, I agree. It was kind of like the timeout yesterday. I heard you guys talk about LSU and Florida State. So they do that thing down to the one, and then Mike Norvell calls a timeout. Like, I didn't get that at all. Like, I understand trying to get you guys lined up, but what are you doing during that 10 previous minutes? So, yeah, I just don't understand those clock management decisions. But who am I? I'm not the head coach or.
Yeah, I just wondered if because I didn't remember that in the questions cut up for audio. I didn't know if it was asked though.
No,
I was not.
No, it wasn't even asked. It wasn't asked yesterday. It wasn't asked Saturday. So shame on us. But yeah, that was not asked.
I labeled them.
If it was, it didn't stand out.
I labeled the first one as interesting, and then Frost doubled down and he said, "No, we'll do it again, and then we'll do it again."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can move the ball. Let's see if you can move the ball. And guess what? They moved the ball. So that was. I don't know. That first half was forgettable, and you can say what you want about only having four first half possessions, but there's a reason why you only got four first half possessions, because you couldn't get off the field. So against North Dakota.
Hey, do you think in Scott's world, the meshing of new faces on his staff and new faces on the roster has taken longer than he expected?
I'm guessing yes. I think that's. I'm thinking that yes, it has taken longer, because when he's saying this is a work in progress, they have a lot of work to do. They're still trying to get to know each other, understand each other, or whatever. And I am paraphrasing to the hill here, but that was one thing that kind of raised my eyebrow yesterday. Like, they're still, learning each other's languages. And I thought, man, we're already through week 2. Shouldn't that language, the communication gap be bridged by now? So, again, I'm not too caught up in who calls the plays. I'm more, just get on the same page and be one, we don't know what the inner workings are on who's calling the plays or who's got the upper hand and who's got the final word on what play call is going on. But my point is everybody should be on the same page. There shouldn't be, team throw first and then team run first. You know what I mean? I mean, if we're 3 weeks in and we're having those battles behind closed doors, then that's a problem. So, you know, whatever's going on there, and obviously we saw a difference in the second half than the first. So whatever they were doing in the second half, maybe, you know, continue and get on that same page, because what we saw in the first half wasn't ideal. And it's interesting too, because they are so good coming out of the locker room, whether it is to start the game or to start the second half. And why that can't translate into drives 2, 3, 4, and 5 is a little puzzling to me.
I think it has a lot to do with game flow, right? Because sometimes you can flip-flop responsibilities. Like, feel for the game, I think, is something that even for a guy that's experienced as Coach Whipple has, like the feel for the situation can sometimes get away from a play caller that is used to working in rhythm. So sometimes those people need somebody to kind of be in their ear, or vice versa, right? Maybe it's Coach Whipple that needs to get in Coach Frost's ear, so Coach Frost can say, hey, listen, you know, we need to play some complementary football with our defense too. We maybe need to slow it down. So I think that's a lot of it, at least in my opinion. I'm kind of speculating.
Yeah, and I agree. And whether or not those suggestions are taken with an open mind is, again, something we don't know. And that goes both ways. So I think that's a dynamic, I think, that is ongoing. And again, it's week 3, and you would think we wouldn't be at this point, but we are. And to your point about complementary football is so important, especially when we get into the thick of the Big Ten season and playing against a team like Oklahoma, where you got to give your defense a chance to exhale a little bit, rather than, you know, I mean, if you get a drive that's 3 and out and you take 30 seconds off the clock, you're not doing your defense any favors.
Do you get the sense is 62 snaps, 38 run, 24 pass, you win? Is that portable in your opinion? Just those numbers. 62, low 60s in snaps, 38 to 24 run pass ratio.
I would think that they would want the snaps a little higher. Again, some of it had to do with not getting the snaps in the first half. That's why that number was so lower than I think that most people would expect. And then whether the ratio is proper or not, I don't think that's going to continue, just because I'm not so certain that they're going to have the success running the football against an Oklahoma and Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, or a Michigan as they did in the second half against North Dakota. And maybe I'm wrong, but at this point, I don't think that line is up to the task.
Well, they got another opportunity before a guy like Grimes in Oklahoma rolls in next week. AK, always good to see you. Thanks for your knowledge on the show. And also thanks to Mr. White for helping out with a flat tire on your way to Lincoln the other day.
Oh, he is the most valuable player before the game even started.
He's something else, man.
He's great. And did you like the fact that I took the time to help out and take pictures of that? That was that's my contribution.
Hey, did he look over his shoulder and say, "You going to help me with this, or are you just going to snap photos?"
He did. I said, "Listen, I got AAA on speed dial, pal. If you'd rather me call, we can do that this way if you want."
Wow.
Great stuff, AK. Thanks.
Thanks, fellas.
That's Andy Kendi. Yeah. That's Tyler at Elkhorn. They're doing a live shot with Matt, and then the next morning he's changing tires. And I guess he had to take care of everything in Dublin.
Team Tyler White, the real MVP.
God, how great, by the way. If people don't know, he's the chief sports photographer for KTV. How great does he look?
Oh, I know. It's fantastic.
He's lost so much weight.
Yeah.
I saw him without his Cubs hat, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah, fell in love, and that was the catalyst.
Really?
Allegedly.
Huh.
I don't know about currently.
We'll see you tomorrow at 6.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles.